A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all-old-time radio.
Radio 59, WROW, first on the dial, serving Albany, Tri, and Schenectady.
Another tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
The story, The Legend of Robbie, written for Suspense by Walter Black.
Hey, George, good and Nanny. Yeah, that's right, okay.
Give me one.
Filling an inside straight, old buddy? Robbie?
I'll play these.
Uh-oh. Might as well throw our hands in, George.
Less gab and more poker, huh, Dutch?
Oh, yes, sir. Let's see, I'll take two. Who opened?
I did. I'll open for 50.
I'll see you.
I'm in.
George, old buddy, what do you got?
Full house. Queens over trays.
Yeah, you hit it, huh? Well, beats me. Robbie?
Yep, beats me too.
Hey, you win the deal, Lucky.
No more tonight, Dutch. Three-handed poker ain't that much fun.
Yeah, no more for me either.
That's not late.
I know, but I set myself a $5 limit and it's gone.
This is a real sensible fella, you know it?
Sensible? What's sensible about it? I can't lose money I don't have.
Kid, you got the wrong slant. Money's the one thing you can always get more of.
Oh, yeah, sure. All I gotta do is walk out of the store with the proceeds.
Not a bad idea if you don't get caught.
The smart guys don't get caught.
Are you kidding? You can pick up a paper any day in the week and read about the ones they get nabbed.
But how about all the ones you never read about? The ones they don't nab. Plenty more get away with it than ever get caught.
Says who?
Statistics, that's who.
It's too late for an argument. Especially when I'll get one at home anyway. Good night, boys. Game on for next week, Dutch?
Well, as long as my landlady don't complain.
Well, I better be going to...
Stick around, have a beer.
No, I don't think so, thanks.
You don't mind if I have one, do you? You know, kid, it's not a bad idea you got.
Idea? What idea?
The one about walking out with the take from your supermarket.
I was only joking.
So? It's still a good idea. A little planning is all it'd take. How much is the market doing a good day?
I don't know exactly.
What do you mean you don't know? Old man Harris lets you take it down to the night deposit box, don't he?
I don't count it on the way.
Well, average. How much do you think he averages a day?
Maybe 6,000 or 7,000.
Not bad for 15 minutes work. What's the matter? My tie on crooked or something?
You're not serious, Dutch.
Ain't I?
You must be crazy.
Well, wait. A little. The normal people are in graveyards.
Well, I'm not crazy. If you think I'd take a nickel from Mr. Harris after all he's done for me, you got another thing coming. He's the best friend I got.
So?
So nothing. I've been with him almost 11 years. I started out making deliveries, and now I'm assistant manager.
And you earn $70 a week.
I'll have another raise soon.
Then you'll be making 72 or 3. Yes, sir. A guy can sure live high off the hog on $72 a week. Lives like a king, can't he?
I'm not so old I can't wait a while.
That's the spirit, Robbie. You knock your brains out, and Mr. Harris takes home the dough.
Knock it off, will you, Dutch? I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Suit yourself, kid. Hey, how's, what's her name? You know, that redhead who works with you?
Sandra?
Yeah, Sandra. On a dish. She gone out with you yet?
No.
Meaning you haven't asked her. How come?
How can I afford to take a girl like her out on what I make?
You're not a bad-looking kid, Robbie. Maybe she wouldn't mind just having an ice cream soda and taking a nice long walk. I got an idea. Why don't we double date some night? Don't worry, I'll stake you. I can always win it back from you at poker.
I couldn't.
Sure you could. Unless, of course, you don't think she'd go out with you.
Why wouldn't she?
That's what I say. Why wouldn't she? Let's make it for next Sunday, okay?
Well, I'll ask her.
You do that.
Hey, Dutch. You weren't, all that crazy stuff about taking the money, you weren't serious, were you?
I guess not, kid.
Yeah, I never know when you're kidding and when you're not.
How could I be serious? After all, you only got to wait another 20, 25 years and the store will be yours, won't it? You'll be rolling in dough by the time you're 55 or 60. Huh? Button your eye, kid.
This is Bing Crosby. I'm sure you've seen and heard this slogan. Home is where the hurt is, where multiple sclerosis hits. I'd like to talk to you for a moment about those homes that are hit by MS and closely related diseases. One of them could be a home of a friend or a loved one or even your own home. Because MS strikes anywhere, anytime. It's simply no respecter of persons. Multiple sclerosis is a crippling, baffling disease of the central nervous system that heaps emotional and financial disaster on top of physical hardship. It's a disease that the victim and his family must learn to live with because its cause and cure have not been found. Now, with so very little known about MS, scientists have to track down anything that is a possible lead. But careful, continuous scientific research takes money. And if money isn't available, a promising lead can't be followed up. Join the fight to conquer multiple sclerosis. Please say yes. And give to the MS Hope Chest today.
You know something, Robbie? I've had 2 drinks and I'm feeling no pain. And when I'm feeling no pain, I like to say what I think. And you know what I think, Robbie? I think you're cute.
I think you're beautiful.
Did you hear that, Dutch? I'm beautiful.
Hey, you telling me or asking me?
Am I really, Robbie?
Most beautiful girl I ever saw.
Oh, if we was alone in this booth, I could thank you in the right way.
Just because I got stood up is no reason to make me feel unwelcome. Go ahead and kiss her, Robbie. Can't you see she's dying for you, too?
Oh, shut up, will you?
He's blushing.
I'm not. It's just hot in here.
You can say that again.
Shut up, I said.
Oh, is that a nice way to talk to the man who's paying for your drinks?
Oh, how come, Dutch?
Oh, Robbie's a little short this month, ain't you, kid?
What of it?
Gee, I thought, being assistant manager and all, I thought you made out real good.
Oh, he does, and he's got a future, too. That's what Mr. Harris told him, ain't it, kid?
Harris, that old windbag. He likes to pay you off in kind words instead of money. A real phony.
I thought you liked Mr. Harris.
I like money. I like good times and cute fellas. I like having fun. It all takes money.
Beautiful and brainy. Why don't we ask Sandra what she thinks of the idea, Robbie?
You mean?
Sure, why not?
But you said you weren't serious.
So they send you to jail for talking? How'd you like a month in Florida, honey, or Bermuda, or maybe even Europe?
How'd I like the moon, why don't you ask?
Oh, this is closer. It's all up to Robbie, too. All he's got to do is walk out some night with the day's proceeds, and some mean old bad guy knocks him on the head in the dark alley, and that's it. Robbie has a bump on his head for a couple of days. So what? And who loses? Harris is insured, ain't he?
Shut up, Dutch. Look, I'm sorry, Sandra. I didn't know he'd start all that crazy talk again.
What's so crazy about it? Don't look so shocked, sweetie. You heard what Dutch said. Harris is insured. What's so wrong with us having a little money before we're too old to enjoy it? Oh! I'd have fallen if it hadn't been for holding on to you. Put your arm around me, sweetie. Oh. You're strong, aren't you?
Yeah, I guess I am.
I'm sure glad Dutch went on by himself. I thought we'd never be alone.
You wanted to be alone with me?
What do you think, cutie pie? Come here. You like it?
Sandra, I love you.
I love you too, cutie. Come on. There's my rooming house. Oh, hold on to me now. Don't let me fall.
Hey, can't we, can't we stay outside a little while, huh?
All right, honey. You know, honey, I like you. I like you a lot. But where does it go from there? I don't want to spend the rest of my life sitting on the front porch of a crummy rooming house.
I won't always be making $70 a week.
Maybe, maybe not. It's not like you wasn't good looking and everything. But a girl's got to look out for herself, don't she?
I can't. I mean, I never stole a nickel in my whole life. I couldn't do it. Especially when Mr. Harris trusts me and depends on me.
Sure. Where else could he get somebody to work like you do for the peanuts he pays you?
Lots of guys don't make any more than I do.
I'm not interested in lots of guys, honey. Just in one guy who will show me a real good time.
A little while ago, you said...
What'd I say?
You love me?
Sure, sweetie. I'd go for you. But I can't love you if you don't love me.
Well, I do.
Money, Robbie. Not talk. Money.
But I just can't.
Okay.
Where are you going?
To bed. You run along home.
But when'll I see you again?
Bright and early tomorrow morning at crummy Mr. Harris's crummy supermarket.
I mean, for a date.
Oh, cutie pie. That all depends on you.
How you doing, Robbie?
You alone, Dutch? I gotta talk to you.
Come on in. But if it's a loan, kid, I'm flat till payday.
It's not a loan.
And what's on your mind? Oh, by the way, how's that gorgeous redhead?
Huh? Oh, she's okay, I guess.
You guess? What's the matter? Aren't you dating her?
No.
Ah, well, what the heck, kid. There's more where she came from. Maybe the next one won't be so hipped on money and good times.
Dutch, that idea you had.
What idea is that, kid? I get so many
About
of them.
the supermarket.
Oh, that one.
How can you be sure to be safe? How can we get away with it?
You can't miss, kid. How long you been taking the money to the night deposit?
Oh, 2 years about.
Friday's a big day for the store, ain't it?
Yeah.
You stay open late.
Huh?
When do you hit the night deposit on Fridays?
10:30, 11:15.
Street's pretty deserted.
Yeah.
How come you ain't never been held up before?
I don't know.
That's the whole answer in a nutshell. You don't know? Because there ain't any reason. You've just been lucky. Well, what's to say you're going to stay lucky? Any night you could have been mugged, right? Could have been hurt bad, maybe even killed, right?
Yeah, I guess.
No guess about it. You've just been lucky. Okay, so next Friday you won't be. It's that simple. You're walking alone, minding your own business. I drive up, jump out, give you a tap on the head so it looks good to the cops. Grab the bag of money and take off like a wounded eagle. Later on, we make the split. Nothing to it.
Well, the cops, won't they ask me questions?
Sure, and you answer them. 2 guys mugged you. You never even saw them. They're going to call you a liar? How can they prove different? You're a solid citizen, good rep. You said yourself Harris trusts you. And don't worry about him. He ain't going to lose. He's insured.
How we spend the money?
We don't. Not for a nice long time. And we do it real gradual so nobody gets suspicious. That's where most guys get fouled up. They can't wait. But we can. Maybe we put it in a couple of banks to let it build up a little interest. Anyways, we can worry about that later.
When do you,
I know what you mean. This Friday.
That soon?
You're going to wait till your redhead finds another guy? This Friday. Now, you just go on like you've been doing. Don't do anything different. You leave the rest to me.
I guess that does it for this Friday, Robbie.
Yes, sir.
You got the checks totaled separate?
Yes, sir.
Deposit slips made out?
Yes, sir.
What's your figure?
$7,484.
And 39 cents.
and 39 cents.
Yeah, sounds like chicken feed maybe, but it builds up, Robbie. Don't you ever forget that.
No, sir.
Something the matter with you?
Huh? Oh, no, Mr. Harris.
All afternoon and evening you've been acting like a man with problems. Something on your mind, Robbie?
Oh, I just got a little headache, that's all.
Well, you better take something for that when you get home.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now here's the bag.
Huh?
Now, mind you don't forget the deposit slips.
Oh, I won't, Mr. Harris.
No, because you did once. You can't be too careful, young fella.
No, sir.
Now, you can go ahead. I'll lock up. And don't spend that money all at once, huh? Hey, Robbie. I'm not quite as dumb as I look. You're not fooling me. You're worried about that raise I promised you, right?
Yeah, I guess I am.
Well, you got no need to be. Starting next week, there'll be an extra $2 in your pay envelope, okay?
Yes, sir. Thanks.
You've earned it. You're a good boy, Robbie. You and me, we make a good team.
Over here, old buddy. Okay, let's get it over with.
Hold it, Dutch.
What's the matter? You got the dough?
I can't.
You ain't backing out now.
Look, I'm scared, Dutch. I'm scared. I'm scared I might say something wrong to the police. Do I have to be left here all alone? Can't we do it some other way?
This is what I get for working with punks. No, we can't do it some other way. Now, give me the dough.
Please, Dutch, take me with you.
Now.
Please, I'm scared. Let me go with you.
All right, punk, in the car.
Thanks, Dutch. We'll work something out.
Shut up and let's get going.
Dutch? I know you're sore at me. Hey, Dutch, where are we going? We're already out of the city limits. Oh, what do we do now, huh? You thought of something else? You got another plan, Dutch? Why are we stopping out here?
I'll tell you, punk. Because we got some unfinished business.
Give me the money? You can have. You don't have to worry.
I ain't worried, but half ain't enough. I want it all.
But you said...
That redhead's expensive, kid. You ought to know that.
Sandra?
Who else? You didn't really think it was you she wanted, did you? See, this is the way it really is, kid. Sandra and me, we set you up for this. We couldn't have taken a chance on that crazy conscience of yours. In 48 hours, you'd have spilled the whole thing to the cops. So you're going to get mugged all the way. You wouldn't have been able to talk to the cops, not ever. I should have figured on you turning chicken. Well, it ain't too late. I won't drive back and dump you by the bank. This is just as good. We're going to have a little accident. Just a little change in plans.
Well, let's make it a big change in plans, Dutch, old buddy, old kid.
Huh? Hey!
Surprised to see the gun? I bought it at a pawn shop in your name. After all, you're too big for me to handle alone. I need help. Hold it. That's better. Let's get going, old buddy.
Where?
Straight ahead. I'll tell you where to turn. Take the next right.
What are you going to do? Now, listen, kid. I was just testing you, seeing how you'd stand up under pressure. I wasn't serious. It's all a gag,
Sure I know, Dutch. But I am serious. Turn here. Want to hear my plan, Dutch?
You ain't got the guts to kill anybody.
You're so wrong. You and Sandra set me up. I set you up. And Sandra doesn't worry me. She'll go where the money is. I'm not worried about her. Hey, Dutch, notice this canvas bag? Just like this one with all the beautiful money in it, isn't it? You know what's in the extra bag? Some old tired dollar bills and bank deposit slips. And you know what? They're all burned to a crisp. But the police will still be able to tell what they were. They're very good at that kind of thing. They'll find them when they find you and the car all burned up at the bottom of the cliff. The cliff straight ahead, Dutch. Slow down. Isn't that a wonderful plan, Dutch? You know, I'll be a hero. I tried to fight you and keep you from getting the money, but you were too strong. I barely managed to jump out of the car before it went over. Oh, don't worry, I'll have plenty of bruises and cuts, maybe even a broken ankle to back me up.
You can't, Robbie. It ain't human.
But it's foolproof. Steering left-handed isn't as easy as I thought. Where's the clip edge? Ah, there it is. Okay, now put her in second. Matches, just in case it don't burn. Now I better open the door. Now, make sure I got the right bag. And hey, he's falling on it. I gotta get it. He's too heavy. I can't move it. But I got to. It's my money. It's mine.
I just can't get over it. Poor Robbie.
Gee, all we girls are sure going to miss him, Mr. Harris.
Nobody'll miss him like me. Why, I was even planning to turn the place over to him one day.
My.
But you know something, Sandra? It wasn't all in vain. Robbie's getting killed along with that thug.
How do you mean?
Well, it proved how right I was to trust him. Why, he could have saved his own life, maybe, if he hadn't been fighting, trying to get back my money. No, Sir Sandra, you just don't find many young fellas like that. He was a hero, Robbie was, and I, for one, won't ever forget him.
Me either. Mr. Harris? Would you think I was awful forward if I said you remind me a lot of Robbie?
I do?
Oh, yes, sir. Except, of course, you're more mature and kind of stronger. Maybe I shouldn't tell you. But I think a girl ought to tell a man how she feels about him. Don't you, Mr. Harris?
Suspense.
You've been listening to The Legend of Robbie, written for Suspense by Walter Black. In a moment, the names of our players and a word about next week's story of Suspense.
Are you all out of tune because you're irregular? Then help yourself get back in tune with Kellogg's All Brand. You'll feel right on pitch when Kellogg's All Brand goes gently to work, relieves constipation due to lack of bulk by supplying your system with bulk-forming whole bran. Yes, a daily bowl full of Kellogg's All Brand with milk helps put you right back in tune. The natural way. The good-tasting way, too. Fact is, Kellogg's All Brand is the one brand cereal that combines proved effectiveness with appetizing taste and crispness. It never gets mushy in milk. So remember, if constipation's a problem, gentle it away, as millions do, with Kellogg's All Brand. The good food way to keep regular as clockwork. ALL-BRAN. Kellogg's All Brand. At your grocer.
Heard in tonight's story were Larry Robinson as Robbie, George Matthews as Dutch, Joan Loring as Sandra, and Eric Dressler as Mr. Harris. Listen again next week when we return with Dead Man's Story by Robert Arthur, another tale well calculated to keep you in suspense. The latest news follows, then Have Gun Will Travel on CBS Radio.
And now, another tale well calculated to keep you in suspense. Dead Man's Story. Written for Suspense by Robert Arthur. The time, late on a foggy night. The place, a room on New York's west side near the docks, where the faint hooting of foghorns comes in the window. Lying on the bed, a man listens to them and knows that beyond those walls, windows, and locked door, 10,000 men of the New York City police force are looking for him. Then comes a knock on the door, which means life or living death.
I'd like to ask you a question. Have you ever been in a shipwreck and drowned at sea? No, I don't expect you to answer that. But just in case you're wondering, I can tell you it's a very interesting experience. My name, Larry King. My record, 1 term at Sing Sing, 1 term at Plattsburgh, 1 term at Auburn Prison. 3 terms, all for acquiring sums of money that weren't legally mine. Making me a 3-time loser. A very uncomfortable position to be in, especially since there was a 4th charge against me and I was hiding out, quite broke and without much hope, when she came to my rescue, as she had so often before.
Larry, Julia.
Julia, come in quickly. How'd you find me?
You phoned me. Oh, Larry, why did you do it?
Very good question. Just a bad habit, I guess.
But you promised.
I never was very good at keeping promises, was I?
So this time you'll be sentenced for life.
No, that's occurred to me, Julia. But you shouldn't have come here.
I couldn't leave you here to be caught.
You always turn up when I need you, Julia. Why?
Because I remember the good things about you, not the bad. The good things about our 4 years together.
It's time you thought of yourself now. Your present husband, a bank executive. He wouldn't like to know that you still come to my help.
I can't help it. You'll have to get out of the country. I'll raise some money, sell some of my jewels. Steve will help me find a freighter captain who will take you to South America. Will you let me do this one last thing for you, Larry?
Yes, Julia. And I promise not to come back. 3 days later, Julia got a message to me. I slipped out and met her down by the docks. We went on board and the captain led us down a corridor.
This way. Be very quiet.
Yes, of course.
This is the cabin. You have the money?
This envelope. $2,100 bill.
Old bills. Good. We sail in 5 minutes.
Oh, baby. This is it. It was never any good at saying goodbye.
I know. It doesn't matter. Here's a passport. Your name is Charles Riker now. And here's $3,000. All I could raise.
You won't get into trouble about the jewelry?
No. Tom will never notice it's gone.
Julia.
Yes?
In spite of everything, I want you to know that there was never anyone else for me but you.
Larry.
That's it, Julia?
Yes. Of course. Goodbye, Larry. Goodbye.
Goodbye, sweetheart. Half an hour later, from the porthole of my cabin, I could see the lights of Manhattan fading away. I had nothing to do but wait. The ocean rolled away behind us. The weather grew milder. And on the 17th day, we entered a Honduran port. As soon as we docked, I met the captain on deck.
Are you ready to go ashore, senor?
Ready as I'll ever be.
You have a passport?
I have a passport. I am not expecting trouble.
One hopes not, but it is easy to be sure, senor.
How?
The customs officer is my friend. For $1,000, I can guarantee no trouble.
You can you? And if I don't pay off, you might just tip a word to the customs officer?
No, senor, I did not say that.
And maybe the money would wind up in your pocket? I smell a rat, and it's you.
It is a mistake to speak to me this way. We should be friends.
Friends? Listen, you chiseler. You're not putting the squeeze on me. You see what I have in my pocket?
God, senor,
I'm warning you. We're walking down that gangplank together. If things go smoothly, fine. If they don't, I'll shoot.
You would not dare.
It wouldn't be any worse for me than returning to the States to face life imprisonment. In fact, the idea of shooting you rather appeals to me.
The senor makes a very funny joke. There will be no trouble.
There wasn't any trouble. Half an hour later, I had a tiny room in a fourth-rate hotel, hot as a baker's oven, and was stretched out on a sagging bed, listening to bad mambo music and staring at the cracks, spiders, and flies in the ceiling. This was freedom. But I was already beginning to wonder if it wasn't overrated. As the weeks went by, I wondered more. The food, if anything, was better at Sing Sing. I couldn't work, you see. I couldn't leave. I couldn't do anything except save my money and see how long I could hold out. This might have gone on for a year if it hadn't been for my visitor one evening. Come in. Oh, I thought it was a houseboy. Afraid you got the wrong room, mister.
I don't think so, King. I'm Lieutenant Sanders of the New York Police.
Oh, you sure you got the right party?
I was never more sure of anything.
How'd you find me?
An anonymous letter a couple of weeks ago. Somebody who couldn't write English very well.
Yeah, that figures. But suppose I say I'm not going back with you.
I have the extradition papers. In the end, you'll have to go. How you have it, easy or hard?
Well, to tell you the truth, I'm tired of this place. Have a drink? That cop Sanders wasn't a bad guy. I spent a day showing him the sights. And we went aboard the freighter SS Port Royal, loaded with bauxite ore for trip back to the States. After a week, we put in a Chimenera, Cuba to load deck cargo. Next morning, we weighed anchor and started through the Winter's Passage. It was then, with New York, the next stop, that I really began to wonder if I'd done the right thing in giving in so easily.
Good. Time to turn in. Want a nightcap?
No, thanks.
All right, put out your left hand.
What for?
I'm handcuffing you to the bunk.
Why? Where would I go?
I've been a cop long enough to know what a prisoner is thinking. We're in the Bahama Channel now, passing one island after another. It wouldn't be too tough to cut a life raft loose.
You got me all wrong.
I'm playing it safe. Put out your hand.
Oh, now look, Lieutenant.
What's wrong? That's the emergency signal.
Look out, Lieutenant.
Sanders! My chest. See if you can lift the bunk off my chest.
Sure. Just hang on.
Hear that? Means trouble. They're abandoning ship.
Now, take it easy. I'll help you. Out from under there in a minute.
So you. My legs are pinned. Ship's taking deck already.
I'll get help.
What is it? What's wrong?
This door. I can't open it. It's jammed.
Try breaking it down. Hurry.
I can't break it. It's metal.
Well, try yelling.
Help! Help! We're in cabin 2. Help!
There's no answer. Everyone's getting on the ship back. There go the lights. Ooh. Feel it lifting. We're going down fast. Must have ripped a big hole in it.
Get us out of here! Get us out!
No use. They've all gone. Notice how quiet it is.
Yes.
We're below the surface. We're going down now to the bottom. Feel the pressure in your ears?
We can't be going down yet. There's no water in here. We're still breathing.
Then with the ship must hold an air pocket. That's the only reason we aren't dead. But we're living on borrowed time.
In just a moment, we will return for the second act of Suspense. As we learn from every day's headlines, words are warriors in the East-West struggle. And your words, uncensored, undictated, can be far more effective overseas than any release from any official source. The people you happen to know overseas, assailed as they are by the sound and fury of propaganda, look to you, not government sources, for expressions of opinion on the world today. Knowing this to be true, and confident in any American writing the truth as he sees it, our government urges us all to keep in touch with those we know in foreign lands. Write often. Write only what you believe. Consult no official sources, for there's no American party line. Your impressions of national and world affairs, your personal experiences and those of people you know, add up to a constructive, convincing picture for readers overseas anxious to hear from America. What you write your friends overseas, they can show their friends. Letters from America, uncensored, undictated, can do incalculable good for the cause of free democracy.
2 hours later, we were still alive. We shouldn't have been, but we were. The deck slanted at a 35-degree angle, and everything was completely silent, except for the beating of our hearts.
King?
Yes, Lieutenant.
I don't feel so good. Every breath feels like the last. But we're still alive. While there's life, there's hope.
Some hope. 2 men trapped in a cabin full of air and a sinking ship 50 feet underwater. Who's going to come by and rescue us?
You never can tell.
What was that? What's that?
Cargo ship. Bulkheads giving way, maybe. Feel the ship move. We're rolling to a different angle now. What was that?
The ship done jammed the cabin door. It just swung open. Using my cigarette lighter for light, I explored. Just a few feet below us was the water, black and rippling a little as the ship shifted with the movement of the cargo. Up ahead were a couple of cabins I could enter, and a heavy door that I didn't dare open lest I let the air out. I found a jug of water and an iron rod I could use as a crowbar, and I got the lieutenant from under the fallen bunks and gave him some water. It was all I could do.
Thanks, King. But I guess pretty soon you'll have a little more air for yourself.
What do you mean?
I'm dying, I can tell.
If it was you who just said, while there's life, there's hope.
Just whistling in the dark.
It's cargo again. You feel the ship?
We're carrying bauxite ore from Brazil. It slides easily. It's slant.
There it is again. The whole ship's vibrating.
I guess some of the hull plates near the bow have been ripped open. The ore is pouring out of the holes into the sea.
It stopped.
And we're moving.
Listen. There. They're bubbling out.
We're in. We're moving. We're going up. Feel that jerk?
Why? What's happening?
We've lost thousands of tons of ore. Ship's lighter. The trapped air's taking us up.
You think we'll reach the surface?
I don't know. Look out the porthole.
The water seems to be getting lighter.
Listen. If the ship reaches the surface, it may only stay a few seconds, then dive to the bottom. We won't have much time to get out.
You mean we won't? Come on, I'm taking you up to the deck. With Sanders on my back, I pulled myself inch by inch up the steeply sloping floor. I could feel the ship jerking and shuddering as we rose. The sound of water and air bubbling grew louder. I reached the companionway. Suddenly, the ship jerked and plunged, throwing us against the wall. With a tremendous splash, it came almost level in the water. We were on the surface. I dragged Lieutenant Sanders up the rest of the way and kicked open the door. The ship was still rolling. There was a breeze in my face. I was almost blinded by the sun in my eyes. Lieutenant, we made it. You'll expect to see sunshine again?
Make it fast. May go under any second.
I'll make it fast. Here's a life raft. Let's get the lashings untied.
Hurry, man! Hurry!
Son, these lashings are half untied. Somebody worked them earlier. There. Now let's slide down into the water. There, that does it. Now we can get off this ship, Lieutenant. Can you? Lieutenant!
In just a moment, we will return for the concluding act of Suspense. Next time you refresh, enjoy a frosty, ice-cold Pepsi-Cola.
Sociability, Charlie.
All right, Kay, how's this? Pepsi is light, refreshes without filling. You like to refresh? Have a Pepsi right now.
Well, offer it to everybody, Charlie.
I will. Enjoy Pepsi at the fountain. It's delicious at home, too. Have one at lunch or with a snack.
Charlie.
At the beach or at dinner. Wherever you go, wherever you're thirsty, Pepsi is there.
It's here, too, in our Be Sociable song. Be sociable, laugh smart, keep up to date with Pepsi. Drink light, refreshing Pepsi. Stay young and fair, debonair. Be sociable, have a Pepsi.
For the weekend, have plenty of Pepsi around. Pick up an extra carton today. CK, I'm sociable.
With Pepsi, everyone is.
The lieutenant lay looking up at the sky, his eyes wide open. But he was dead. I helped myself to the money in his wallet and the passport. Wouldn't leave them where he was going. Then I slid down to the life raft and began paddling away. 10 minutes later, the Port Royal slid under for good. And I was alone on a calm sea with nothing in sight but sky and air. Two days later, I drifted onto a large island. I burned the life raft and started walking. In a few miles, I found a native village. I was on the island of Great Inagua, some 100 miles northeast of Cuba. I bought passage on a fishing boat to Cuba, and 2 weeks later, I managed to slip into Miami. Without even thinking about it, I headed for New York by bus. When I got there, I phoned Julia.
Wentworth residence?
My name is Riker, Charles Riker, and I'd like to speak to Mrs. Wentworth. Mrs. Julia Wentworth, please.
I'm sorry, sir, but that's impossible.
But it's very important. If you'll give her my name, it'll...
Haven't you seen the paper, sir?
The papers?
Yes, sir. Mr. and Mrs. Wentworth were in an automobile accident last night. Both are in critical condition.
Julia hurt?
Yes, sir.
What hospital?
General Hospital, sir.
I'm sorry, sir, but you can't go in that room.
I have to see Mrs. Wentworth. I'm a personal friend.
I'm sorry, no one can see her. Mrs. Wentworth is on the critical list.
Please, just for a minute.
It's really quite impossible.
But I've got to see her. Talk to her.
She's been unconscious for hours. Now, I'll have to ask you to leave.
But when she regains consciousness, can I see her then?
Only if you're a member of her immediate family or her attorney. Now, this way, please.
As I left the hospital, I remembered that once Julia had said that John Werby was the family lawyer. I had to see her, and he could arrange it. I found his office in the phone book and went there, and an hour later got to see him.
You say your name is King? Lawrence King?
Yes, Mr. Werby. Julia probably never mentioned me to you, but you may know that we were once married.
Oh, yes, I know. In fact, I know your name very well. But I can't get over your being alive. Both you and Sanders were reported dead. Survivors saw the ship go down.
Yeah, it came up again. I just soon everybody thought I was dead. Mr. Werby, I have to see Julia. I must see her. If only to let her know that I'm still alive.
I'm very sorry, Mr. King.
Very sorry.
Both Mr. and Mrs. Wentworth are dead.
No.
He died an hour ago. She half an hour.
She was dying while I was in there in the hospital.
I'm afraid so.
Julia dead. Can't believe it.
Believe me, I sympathize fully. Mr. King.
Yes?
The fact that Mrs. Wentworth lived half an hour longer than her husband is very important to you.
I don't see how.
Mr. Wentworth's entire estate went to Mrs. Wentworth. Almost $4 million.
Oh, what does it matter? She's dead.
It matters a great deal. If Mrs. Wentworth had died first, her husband's estate would have gone to charity. Instead, it goes to her. She left a will. In that will, she leaves her estate to you.
To me?
Yes, almost $4 million. Less inheritance taxes, of course.
It's rather funny.
I'm afraid I don't see anything amusing.
Aren't you forgetting that I'm dead? I went down in the Port Royal. There were witnesses.
It will be a simple matter to establish the fact you're still alive.
And once it's established, I'll go to prison as a 4-time loser, which means a life sentence.
Yes, I'd forgotten that.
I can do one of two things. I can walk out of here, disappear, and go on living as Charles Riker and let the police think I'm dead. Or I can claim the estate, become the richest man in Sing Sing. Quite a choice, isn't it?
Yes, a rather difficult choice. Which will it be, Mr. King?
Which will it be? That's a good question, isn't it? A very good question. I've been thinking about it for quite a while, and I still haven't come up with the answer. If it was you, what would your choice be?
Suspense. You've been listening to Dead Man's Story, written for Suspense by Robert Arthur. In a moment, the names of our players and a word about next week's story of Suspense.
Hi, this is Dennis James with a longtime favorite. Longtime favorites are usually the best, aren't they? And one favorite folks have relied on over the years is Kellogg's All Brand. Since 1919, America's favorite natural laxative cereal. Kellogg's All Brand is the safe, gentle way to overcome irregularity caused by lack of bulk in your diet. It tastes good, too, and it never gets mushy in milk. There's only one All Brand, Kellogg's All Brand. So relieve constipation the way millions do with Kellogg's All Brand. ALL-BRAN. Yes, you're so right to stay regular with Kellogg's All Brand. Try it, okay? Okay.
tonight's story were Kevin McCarthy as Larry, Rebecca Sand as Julia, and Sam Gray as Sanders. Also included in the cast were Joseph Boland, Guy Rett, Ruth Tobin, and Richard Kendrick. Listen again next week when we return with Out the Window by William N. Robeson, another tale well calculated to keep you in suspense. The latest news follows, then Have Gun Will Travel on CBS Radio.
And now, another tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
We take you to the 21st floor of a metropolitan office building and Out the Window by William N. Robeson. Commissioner Walczak got up from his desk. Behind him was an open window. In front of him, quite close to him, were two hard-eyed men. Granite, small, shifty, quick in his movements. Bruzy, huge, slow, somewhat stupid. Granite, the brains. Bruzy, the muscle. Commissioner Walczak faced them, defied them, his back to a window 21 floors above the street.
No. What did you say, Commissioner? I said no. No more graft. No more civic corruption. No more pigs at the public trough. You sound like one of your campaign speeches. Only this time I mean it. How come, Commissioner? Let's just say I can't stand the face I have to shave every morning. You could cut its throat. I've thought of that, but I guess I haven't the guts. We have, Commissioner. We've got plenty of guts. We put you in this job, Walczak. We expect you to do your duty by us and the party. If you don't feel like it anymore, that's okay. You can get out the window. You can't frighten me. I wouldn't think of it. Walczak, I'm not a very emotional person. Neither is Bruzy. We're practical, very practical. There won't be a sign of us left here. The commissioner fell from the window of his office on the 21st floor. The papers will say ill health, worry over threatened scandals in his administration. And there will be scandals, Commissioner. We'll see to that. Your reputation will outlive you, and it will be difficult for your wife to live with it. Why must she suffer my honesty? I can't say, since she can continue to enjoy the fruits of your dishonesty as long as you are willing. I will not. I cannot continue like this. That is your final word? It is. You're an idiot. Go ahead, Bruzy. Push him out the window. No, wait. Isn't there another way? I'll leave town, leave the country, disappear. You can have it, the administration, the party. We don't want it. We only want to run it. Is there no getting away from you? No. Change your mind? No. And you've only got one out. Out to the window. You'll have to do it. Go ahead, Bruzy. Yes. Come on, Bruzy. One good shove. That's all it takes, mister. Get off me, too. Sure about. Oh, no, Walczak, no. Judo friend, Granite. Learned it in the army. One of the few things you didn't know about me. Oh, no. Would you have been so shaken, I wonder, if it were me hurtling through space out there? No, I suppose not. You're quite helpless without your bruiser, Bruzy, aren't you, friend Granite? Another thing you didn't know about this gun. I've kept it here for years. I've often wondered why. Now I know. Now, Walczak, you don't think I meant all those things? I said. Don't I? I was just testing you. Well, you got your answer. Oh, we can go on, you and I, just as we always have. No, we can't, little man. You've gone as far as you're going. Your last act will be to furnish brief bafflement to the police. When they come looking for the window poor Bruzy fell from, they'll find you lying here on the floor. No. And for a brief while, they'll think you pushed Bruzy out the window, and then did away with yourself. And they'll wonder how you got into an office, locked from the outside. No. Oh, Walczak, for the love of...
Going down?
on, Commissioner?
Yes, please.
Terrible thing just happened.
What's that?
Oh, man just fell out of a window.
Do they know which one?
Oh, must have been pretty high. He was badly broken up.
Identified?
Isn't enough left of him.
Must have been high.
You know, funny thing, though.
What?
Nobody's reported it from any of the offices. If nobody saw him go and nobody's missing, it'll take all day to check all the offices in the building.
It's not a fact.
Oh, sure. Figure it out for yourself.
I already had. Perhaps not all day, but hours. More hours than I needed. Certainly they wouldn't head for my office first thing. The elevator operator would tell them that I'd left my office shortly after the unfortunate accident. I was totally ignorant of it. Out in front of the building, the crowd 6 deep around the thing on the sidewalk. The cab driver on the edge, peering. I tap him on the shoulder. He turns, wearing the face of Brucey. What do you want? Careful. Don't let this throw you. Cab. Are you free? I'm in a hurry. Get in. This you hadn't counted on. The cab driver looking like Brucey. Brucey was lying there on the sidewalk where you wanted it. Brucey isn't driving the cab. The driver doesn't look like him, really. It's you who's given Brucey's face. Your guilty imagination. Guilty of what? Brucey would have pushed you out the window had you not flipped him. It was you or him.
What a mess a man makes when his skin isn't holding him in.
You or Brucey, that's all. Survival of the fit. Law of the jungle. No place for guilt here. No reason. But this you hadn't counted on. Treachery of your imagination. The guard at the bank. He's not the regular one standing by the door smiling at the customers. They've changed him. This one's new. This one's Granite. He looks like Granite, but it can't be Granite. Granite's dead up there in that locked office. Steady. This is the hallucination of a guilty conscience. Your conscience isn't guilty. It isn't. Here now. The girl who opens your safe deposit box for you. She doesn't look like Brucey. Or Granite. Not even like their sister. And you silently thank her for not looking like either of them. And then she's gone with a smile, leaving you two alone to stuff your pockets with the price of your escape. All this beautiful money so prudently put away, leaving you alone to walk as bravely as you may past the guard that looks like Granite, to the waiting cab whose driver looks like Brucey.
Walter Walczek. Till a few moments ago, Commissioner Walczek. Commissioner Walczek, Embezzler Walczek, now melds into Walczek, the lover. Complete with golden key.
Wally, is that you?
Yes, kitten.
You scared me.
Didn't expect me, eh?
Well, not exactly, lover man.
Who did you expect?
No, honey boy. I mean in the middle of the afternoon.
Who?
No one, Big Daddy. There's no one but you in the whole world.
Yeah.
You got the key, lover. Only you.
Yeah. Number one, man, huh?
Number one, Daddy-o.
That's good. Good.
Only how come you're so early in the day?
I'm through.
But you should have called, lover.
There wasn't time. It happened so fast.
What, lover?
Never mind. I'm through. I'm finished. I'm getting out.
When?
Now.
Where are we going?
Well...
You're taking me with you, aren't you?
Well, yes, sure.
Where are we going?
Away, somewhere. I don't know. Mexico, maybe.
Mexico? Oh, I want to go to Europe. Rome, Paris, all the places you promised. I don't want to go to Mexico.
Mexico first. The other places afterward. Mexico first. We don't need passports for Mexico.
You promised.
I know.
Well, I'll get ready. I'll pack.
Not too much. We won't need much. We can get what we want when we get there. Only, first,
What first, lover?
Let me put my hand on your shoulders.
You said we were in a hurry.
There's time for that. Let me rest a minute. Let me feel Safe again, kitten. So soft and warm and safe. This encircling arm. Safe home where no one can harm you. No one can find you. Safe from the cop on the beat, the kids on the block. Safe from stern, disapproving daddy. Safe in Mummy's arms.
Good grief, hon. We can't stay around here all day. We gotta get going.
But it isn't Mummy at all. It's this ridiculous little blonde you call Kitten. And she's as loyal to you as any cat would be, so long as you feed it and stroke it regularly. No one can make you safe but yourself. No one can make you secure. No one can guard you. There's no one who cares but you. This piece of fluff, you owe her the rest of your life. You owe her anything. She's got as much as you gave.
Where are you going? I thought you wanted...
I gotta go.
Where?
Well, I gotta get tickets for the airplane. I thought I'd get the plane tickets while you get ready.
I won't be a minute.
Neither will I. Here.
What's this for?
$100 last minute stuff. I don't know. Pay the landlady or something.
You're not coming back, are you?
What makes you say that?
I know it. I feel it. You're not, are you?
Well, let's go.
You've got lots of money. Your pockets are bulging with money.
Let me go.
Give it to me. Give me money. Give me more money.
Go.
Give me more money.
Kitten. Soft like a kitten. Fragile like a kitten. Dead in a heap like a dead kitten. At a time like this, one must think straight. Pays one. There are things yet to be done. Important things. What then are they? They're on the list. Checklist. Checklist. Things to do today. Choke kitten. Walk, don't run to nearest dispenser of escape. Buy a ticket to anywhere, because you're nowhere, man.
Announcing the arrival of the just departed jet from here to there is that. Now offloading on Rent 7. Passengers incoming from offloading can claim baggage sooner than later.
Yes, sir. What can I do for you, sir, in this jet-paced age of shrinking horizons? Name your destination and we'll put you there.
You sound like Kitten.
The subjects travel at supersonic speed. Don't change it.
You look like Kitten.
How many and where to?
2.
To where?
You know Kitten.
I'm not Kitten. State your business and make it brief. Our clientele consists of men of decision, men of action. Others need not apply. Where to does you two wish to go?
Mexico.
Too easy. No further?
No further, not now.
Very well. With us, the customer is king, Your Majesty.
Thank you.
2 tickets for Mr. King. And wife?
Yes. Yes, of course. And wife. Wife. The last refuge of the scoundrel. She who, for better or worse, in sickness and health, till death do us part, did we take to wife. She who has grown old in the service of this benevolent tyrant. Who has a better right to the spoils of life than she whose life is spoiled? The little woman, the better half, the ball and chain, the old lady. She'll be named Kitten. You can buy anywhere for a handful of what glitters is not. A wife. You got a lot of investment in a wife. She's yours. All yours. Bought and paid.
In just a moment, we will return for the concluding act of Suspense.
On page 663 of Volume 10 of the Encyclopedia Britannica, it says, quote, "Few physical phenomena are roughly as well known to everybody as gravitation," end quote. Which is to say, and the encyclopedia goes on for the next 18 pages of fine print to say that everything that goes up must come down. Commissioner Walczek, former Commissioner Walczek, is a new man, a family man. purged of sin and delivered of temptation, shoulders squared, chest out. See him as he strides down the avenue, homeward bound. Walter Walczek, husband. St. George is on his way to the Dragon's Lair.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I need some roses, American Beauty roses.
The long stand.
The longest, an armful. All you've got.
They're quite expensive.
Money at a time like this is no object.
How nice.
Did anyone ever tell you you looked like my wife when she was your age?
Not that I can recall.
Well, you do. Of course, this girl doesn't really look like Nellie when she was young. It's just that she is young. And it's a good thing to remember Nellie when she was young and pretty. To remember her soft brown hair and her laughing dark eyes. To remember her as she was before life pounced on her, demanding to be lived.
That you, Walter?
Yes, Nellie, I'm home.
Early, aren't you?
Little. Here, for you.
Roses, how nice. Why?
Must there be a reason?
Oh, I suppose not really, but there usually is. Birthday, anniversary, guilty conscience.
Can a man bring his wife roses just because he loves her?
Love? After all these years of silent sufferance?
I was never a very demonstrative person.
That you weren't.
But I shall change. You'll see. It's not too late. What do you say, how about a little kiss, sweetie?
Perhaps you'd better not try to change so suddenly.
I bought you something else.
What?
Tickets. Airplane tickets. We gotta go away.
Where?
Mexico. First. Later, further. I don't know.
Why?
I killed some people this afternoon.
Who?
Granite and that bruiser of his, Bruisey, to name two.
It's about time. I never did like them, either one of them.
Me neither. I tossed Bruisey out the window. I shot Granite with this gun. Had that thing in the top drawer of my desk for the last 10 years. Thought it might come in handy someday. It did.
Didn't I give that to you on our 10th wedding anniversary?
Yeah, come to think of it, you did.
Before you got respectable, when you still had enemies, and I was afraid for you.
You were, weren't you? I guess you did love me at that.
I guess so. But that was a long time ago.
I've been busy, Nellie, these past years.
Yes.
But I'll make it up to you now. We'll go wait tonight.
I can't tonight. I got a dentist appointment tomorrow morning.
There are dentists in Mexico.
Not this dentist. You ought to give me some warning.
It was unpremeditated murder. I didn't have any advance notice myself.
That's bad. Impulsive. You might almost call it a crime of passion.
No passion. I was pretty cold-blooded.
But you just said it was unpremeditated.
As to time and place. But I've been planning the removal of those two for a long, long time. And when I accomplished it, as you see, the rest of the plan followed. The safe deposit box emptied and our plane reservations waiting for us.
And the roses. They were part of the plan.
No, I guess you could call them an impulsive gesture.
Bad, Walter. Very bad, impulsive. Not thought out. Really. Believe me, if I were planning a murder, I would be more thorough. Suppose, for instance, I wanted to murder you.
Why me?
Why not you? Haven't you given me sufficient reason? For 20 years, I've played the empty role of your wife while you husbanded one floozy after another.
Oh, now, Nellie...
There's no room for argument. I don't want to discuss it. It's true. We both know it. True. And it's grounds for murder, isn't it, Walter? But murder would get me nothing just any day of any week, would it? So I would have to plan carefully and wait patiently if I wanted to murder you. I would need the money, all that lovely cash money you've hoarded in that safe deposit box for years. Yes, I should want all of that. And you do have it all on you, don't you, Walter?
Look, Nellie, we're going to miss that plane.
Oh, yes, and I'd need a plane ticket to make my getaway. 2 would be even better, since, who knows, there might be someone who'd want to go with me. And you've been good enough to bring 2 plane tickets.
Please, Nellie, pull yourself together.
And then I'd need a murder weapon, and you've provided that with unaccustomed thoughtfulness, Walter. Your own gun. The gun with which you killed Granite, Prince. Notice I wrap my hand in a handkerchief before I pick it up. So if I were to shoot you and leave the gun by your side, it would look like suicide.
Nellie, this joke has gone far enough.
Joke? I see nothing funny about it, Walter. But there remains one thing lacking in my premeditated murder of you, my dear husband, and that's motive. Immediate motive, that is. Say, proof of infidelity sufficiently humiliating to make me want to murder you now.
Millie!
And this, too, you've provided. The roses to cover the guilt. But they didn't wipe away the lipstick from your collar, Walter. They weren't strong enough to overpower the cheap perfume of your little kitten, Walter.
Millie, for God's sake, put that gun down!
A man's body falling from a great height and striking an unyielding surface such as concrete will often make sound exactly like a revolver shot. Commissioner Wolchek's body did.
Suspense.
You've been listening to Out the Window, written for Suspense by William N. Robeson. In a moment, the names of our players and a word about next week's story of Suspense. Heard in tonight's story were Santos Ortega as Wolchek, Jane Hossack as Kitten, and Ginger Jones as Nellie. Others in the cast included Roger DeKoven, George Matthews, Sam Raskin, and Marilyn Cole. Listen again next week when we return with The Perfect Plan by Peter Fernandez. Another tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
You're tuned to WROW Radio in Albany, New York. Time, 5:30.
Now, another tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
A daring and ingenious scheme for a payoff. As in just 1 minute, we bring you Perfect Plan, written by Peter Fernandez.
Thirsty people everywhere prefer ice-cold Pepsi-Cola. And because it's light, it refreshes without filling.
Charlie, be sociable.
I am, Kay. Pepsi is a favorite of thirsty people from Maine to Hawaii, from Alaska to Florida.
Charlie.
It's perfect for parties or picnics, so serve Pepsi to your guests.
That's helpful, but...
This is the sociable part. Keep plenty of Pepsi ice cold and ready. Remember, it goes fast because everybody likes Pepsi.
Singing still sounds more inviting. May I? Be sociable, look smart, keep up to date with Pepsi. Drink light, refreshing Pepsi. Stay young and fair and debonair. Be sociable, have a Pepsi.
But singing doesn't say, pick up an extra carton of Pepsi today. Better yet, get a case.
You do that.
There you are, Jason. There's the house.
Yeah, I'll pull in here so that milkman can't spot us.
Yeah. Good, he didn't even notice us.
We're right on schedule.
Put that gun away.
Just being prepared.
Well, we've got time. Relax. We have exactly 14 minutes before he leaves the house and walks down to that bus stop. By now, they'll just be having their breakfast.
Good morning, Princess.
Henry, you did it again.
There was no point in waking you, Liz. Morning, honey. I'm perfectly capable of making my own breakfast.
But I wanted to have it ready for you. Today of all days. It's just that in the mornings lately,
I know, Mother. Here, sit down. I'll pour you some coffee.
Thanks, Henry. It doesn't seem possible, does it? Only 3 more months and the baby will be born. That's all, only 3 months.
And your baby is going to be beautiful, Liz.
And yours.
I hope it doesn't look like me. Here you are.
Well, Henry, the decision is due this morning.
Uh-huh.
If that board doesn't make you manager...
I'll just continue to be assistant manager. But with another mouth to feed soon. Well, darn it, Liz, I've worked hard for that promotion.
And you'll get it. You're the best assistant manager that bank has. There's absolutely nothing to prevent you from getting that promotion, Henry.
I hope not. Well, I'll call you either way.
There'll be only one way. Goodbye, dear.
What's keeping him?
The bus doesn't leave for 5 minutes. He's still got time.
Oh.
Now, you listen to me, Jason. This whole job, we move carefully and slowly. Remember that.
Sure.
We didn't spend weeks tailing him, working this out just to have you get edgy now.
Hey, look. He's coming out of the house.
Oh, yeah, I see him. Now, remember. Think, Jason, think.
Sure.
I'll go and join him now at the bus stop. And you keep away from his house for at least 5 minutes.
Okay. Good luck.
The way this job is planned, Jason, we don't even need luck. Good morning.
Oh, morning.
Is this seat taken?
No, forgive me. Let me move my briefcase.
Thanks.
There you are.
Thank you. Aren't you Henry Travers?
Why, yes. Yes, have we met before?
Oh, we've merely ridden this bus together a few times. I'm Shirley Brisbane.
Well, how do you do? I'm trying to do a little work before I get to the office, if you'll excuse me.
Of course. Are those loan applications, Mr. Travers?
Oh, you're familiar with this kind of work?
Well, I've been making a study of your procedures. I expect to get a loan from you this morning.
You do? Sure. Let me see, you said Shirley Brisbane. I don't recall your application.
In exactly 1 hour and 15 minutes, I'll expect you to grant me a loan of $50,000.
Yes, ma'am, just like that.
Just like that.
And now, all jokes aside, Miss Brisbane, I do have this work to finish.
Oh, go right ahead, Mr. Travers. There's still plenty of time.
Yes?
Mrs. Travers, I'm from Commercial Trust.
Oh, my goodness. I didn't expect anyone so early. I'm not even dressed in the house. But come in, won't you?
Thanks.
Henry warned me that the bank might send someone around in connection with his promotion, but I didn't expect anyone so early. Sit down, won't you? I just finished coffee. Would you like some? It's still hot.
Oh, no, thanks.
Would you mind very much, Mr.
Collins. Jason Collins.
Would you excuse me for just a few moments, Mr. Collins, while I change my clothes?
No.
What? It won't take me long.
Well, neither will this. Just a few preliminary questions. Please, sit down, Mrs. Travers.
Well,
Sit down.
Well, all right, Mr. Collins.
Excuse me, Mr. Travers, but according to my watch, you should be at your desk in 12 minutes.
What? How did you know?
We just have time for you to consider my loan application.
I don't consider that a very funny joke.
No joke, I assure you. At 9:15, I expect $50,000.
Oh, you do?
Otherwise, you'll never see your wife alive again.
What? What are you talking
There's
about?
someone with her now who won't hesitate to kill her.
What?
Don't attract attention to us, Mr. Travers.
What's this all about?
When you get to the bank, call your home. You can talk to my friend, Jason. Satisfy yourself that Elizabeth's life depends on what you do.
Then what?
Make out all the necessary papers for a loan. I don't care how you do it, as long as they look authentic. As long as no one stops me, because at 9:15, I'll be in to pick up that money.
I still don't know if this isn't some kind of cruel joke.
When we get to the bank, call your home. Then you can be sure this is no joke.
Oh, come in, Mr. Travers.
Oh, yes, O'Malley.
Well, today's the day, sir.
What?
I said, good luck, sir. I hope you get the promotion.
Oh.
Well, just a moment now, and I'll have this gate open. Oh, by the way, Mr. Cromwell came in a few minutes ago, sir. I showed him into your office.
I haven't time for him.
But it's Cromwell himself.
I don't care.
There you are, sir.
Oh, Mr. Travers, my dear, dear Henry.
I'm sorry, Mr. Cromwell, but could you wait outside? I've got to make a private phone call.
I beg your pardon.
Please, it's urgent. I can't explain it just now.
Oh? Well, with Forbes ill and retiring, I've decided to approve you for manager at this morning's board meeting, and I came here early to have a chat with you first.
Well, I haven't time. Please, Mr. Cromwell, if you can wait for just a little while.
Oh, very well, Travers. Very well.
Now... What? Hello? Who is this?
Is that you, Travers?
Yes. Are you...
I've been waiting for your call. You're late.
Elizabeth. She all right?
She doesn't know a thing about what's going on yet.
Let me talk to her.
No. When I expected your call, I sent her upstairs to change her clothes. Your wife's okay so far. But if you want it to stay that way, you got a lot of work before 9:15.
Listen, I'll do my best. I'll try to get the money, but what you're asking is almost
Never
impossible.
mind. You just see that you get it. You don't want to come home and find your wife dead.
But I will... Hello? Hello?
Oh, Mr. Cromwell, good morning. One of the other tellers informed me that you were here. Kind of early for you, isn't it, sir? Well, now, don't tell me that you, too, have some objections to me being here. Oh, indeed, no, sir. Well, good. Then you won't mind if I stand here by your counter? Oh, not at all, sir. I want to keep an eye on Mr. Travers' office. Oh? And I want to know what he's up to. Now, tell me, have you noticed anything peculiar about him lately? Peculiar? No, sir. What do you mean? Well, this morning, for instance, the man seems absolutely frantic. We haven't even opened for business yet. There he is now, rushing out of his office and going into Christie's. Now, what do you suppose he could be up to?
Good morning, Henry. Heard anything about the promotion yet?
This loan, Jim, you forgot to add your endorsement.
Oh, You're nervous this morning, Henry, but you needn't be. I think the promotion is yours.
Jim, here, I need your signature. They'll be in for this money in a few minutes.
Well, all right, Henry. Well, let's see what this is all about. I don't recall this application.
Well, it came up at the last meeting. You were at the dentist that afternoon.
Oh, yes, the 14th, of course. Well, do we have the collateral?
Yes, Jim. The stocks and bonds were analyzed. More than sufficient.
Equity Products Corporation. Never heard of it. What do they do, Henry?
A transcript of the meeting is available. I haven't time to go into this with you.
And I haven't had a chance to read the transcript yet. Well, but you signed this. You must feel that it's worthwhile.
I do.
Now, let me see. It's just 9:00.
It is?
And I won't have time to read the transcript now. So I'll sign this on your say-so.
Here, use my pen.
Oh, okay. There you are.
And thanks. Thanks, Frisbee.
Henry, the promotion's in the bag. Relax, Henry.
In just a moment, we will return for the concluding act of Suspense.
When Dr. Jonas Salk gave the nation the vaccine against polio, as a nation, we sighed relief. Another enemy of health, one affecting the children, had been conquered by science. Now we can worry about something else. Many people took just such an attitude, and it appeared to be justified. For the first years after the vaccine saw a remarkable drop in cases of crippling polio. But last year, the figures rose again. If the vaccine works, why did America have more cases of polio last year than the year before? The answer is painfully simple. Many people neglected to avail themselves of the vaccine's protection. A minimum of 3 shots is still the recommended dose. And it takes time for maximum protection, for shots must be spaced apart. If you have neglected your polio shots while immunizing your children, you are still in danger yourself. People under 40 who failed to get their shots are now chief statistical polio victims. See your doctor or visit your clinic or health department. Lose no time getting your shots to help stamp out polio.
17 minutes past 9, Mr. Travers. Aren't you finished yet?
Almost. You wanted cash, didn't you?
That's right.
I've got more forms to fill out. I need more time.
Jason expected the phone call 2 minutes ago.
If he's done anything to hurt Liz...
You're in no position to bargain, Mr. Travers. Just do what you have to do.
All right. There. That's finished. Now I have to go to the vault and show these to the guard, get in and get the money. I'll be back in a couple of minutes.
Well, you'd better be.
Henry, do you think we'll be able to have our little chat soon? Now, the meeting is not far off, and
not now.
Henry, what is going on? Now, will you tell me?
I can't, and please don't ask me.
Well, I just don't understand.
Here, O'Malley.
Oh, thanks, Mr. Travers. Go right in, sir.
And see that I'm not disturbed. I have a large amount of cash to assemble here.
Oh, yes, sir. All right, Mr. Travers.
Now.
Are you ill, Mr. Collins? Can I get you something?
It's 20 after 9.
I know. That meeting about Henry's promotion will be taking place in only 5 minutes.
That don't matter. Who cares about a meeting?
Well, I certainly do.
Why doesn't that phone ring?
I really don't understand why it's so urgent.
2 more minutes. That's all I'm going to wait. 2 more minutes.
There. All set now, Mr. Travers?
Yes, O'Malley.
Oh, Mr. Cromwell's waiting for you just outside. He insists on a word with you, sir.
Oh, no.
Henry, just a moment.
Mr. Cromwell, I'll explain later.
I want the explanation now.
Let go of my arm.
Don't be a fool.
Don't try to stop me, please.
This cash form I got from O'Malley just now and the copy of the loan application seem fraudulent.
They're not. Frisbee endorsed that application, so did I.
It says here that it was approved as per the meeting of Tuesday the 14th. Now, I sat in on that entire meeting. This loan was not approved. It wasn't even discussed. O'Malley.
Yes, sir.
Now, call the 19th
No,
precinct.
listen to me.
Go ahead, O'Malley. Now, what is it, Henry? I'm listening.
And she's waiting in my office. Unless she gets this money now and calls him, he'll kill my wife.
Oh, Henry, I wish you'd told me this sooner, but we'll go in there, give her the money, and when the police get here, we'll keep them out of this until your wife is safe.
Thank you, Mr. Cromwell.
Well, good luck.
Okay, I've got it. Where? Gone. Oh, my.
What are you doing?
She must have slipped out when we were talking. I've got to catch her.
Now you're lying. Now stop.
No, I've got to catch her. Now. Please, you've got to let me go, will you? You'll kill her. Let me go, will you?
Henry? Now, Henry, you haven't a chance.
Listen to me.
But I've already listened, Henry, and I think we'd better wait in your office until the police get...
No, Mr. Cromwell.
I'm sorry, Henry. Bring him along, O'Malley.
Please.
Now, go ahead, Henry, and call your home. And tell whoever you think is there that the woman's already left with the money, that she didn't want to take the time to call.
He won't believe me. He'll think she was caught. He might have killed Liz already.
If you're telling the truth, this is the only thing you can do right now. But it's obvious what the truth is.
All right. She was supposed to talk to him herself. He'll know I'm lying.
You've got to persuade him that the plan is working, if there is any such plan.
Hello?
Elizabeth, are you all right?
Oh, darling. I've been so anxious to hear from you. Did you get the promotion?
What? Oh, Liz, never mind. Put him on.
Who? Oh, you mean Mr. Collins. No, he's already gone. He said he couldn't wait. Henry, are you the new manager?
Gone. Thank goodness.
Just a minute, Travers. Give me that phone. Hello? This is Walter Cromwell.
Oh, hello, Mr. Cromwell. How are you?
Well, I'm fine. About that man.
Mr. Collins?
Did he threaten you?
Goodness, no. He just seemed very nervous, but there definitely was nothing wrong.
I see. Well, thank you very much, Mrs. Travers. Goodbye for now. Well, Henry. The police. Good morning, Lieutenant.
Hello, Mr. Cromwell. Oh, what's happened?
Well, we've been very fortunate, Lieutenant. We just prevented this man, one of our most respected officers, from absconding with a large amount of the bank's funds.
If I was going to steal money, I would have been much more clever than this. They threatened to kill my wife unless I gave them $50,000.
Who threatened? I just spoke to your wife. She doesn't know anything about it.
We're going down to the precinct, and we'll get a full statement. If it adds up to the way it sounds, we'll book this man.
Well, that'll suit me just fine, Lieutenant.
Here's your wife, Mr. Travers. We've just finished questioning her.
My poor darling. Henry, I had no idea what was going on this morning.
I almost wish you had. Then they might believe me. Has my lawyer arrived yet?
He's on his way, dear.
If I'm to be booked, I want to be.
Mr. Travers, when your wife gave us a statement, we checked the entire board of directors at your bank. That man who was at your house this morning, he wasn't on any official business, as your wife had been led to believe. He could have been a burglar posing as an investigator in order to case the house.
That's ridiculous.
Or he could be the man we're looking for. Now, he has no record, so we have no mug shots of him. But the woman...
Yes?
Maybe you can spot her in one of these pictures of various women. All of them from our files. Here.
Yes.
Hey, take a good look, Mr. Travers.
Let me see now. No. Not this one either. No, she's not here, Lieutenant.
Is that a fact? Well, then I'm afraid we'll have to hold you.
No, wait. Let me see that one again.
Well, which one? This?
No, that one.
Oh.
Yes, this could be her. Now that I take a second look at her, it could be.
But you're not certain.
How can I be? The woman I saw had blonde hair. This one has black, but the face seems to be the same.
Then let me tell you, Mr. Travers, the woman in that picture is dead.
I don't see how I have a chance, Russell. Just look at that jury. Look at their faces. Every single one of them believes I'm guilty.
I strongly advise you to plead guilty and escape this trial, Henry. You might have been given a light sentence, a year or two, but now, without any concrete proof, with nothing to back up your defense, if they do bring in a guilty verdict, well, it could mean 10 years.
10 years.
Counsel for the defense, are you ready to begin your summation?
I am, Your Honor.
Very well, then please begin.
Good luck.
Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we concede that the evidence offered in defense of this poor man has been purely circumstantial. However, let me point out that even circumstantial evidence, whether of guilt or innocence...
Mr. Prosecutor, if you wish to hold a conference with one of your witnesses, kindly do so outside of this courtroom. This defendant is entitled to...
I'm sorry, Your Honor, but the police lieutenant here has just brought me some information which has a direct bearing on this whole trial.
Very well. Please give the court that information.
The police lieutenant has just informed me, Your Honor, that a similar robbery was attempted this morning at the National Exchange Bank, and that the woman has been caught. She is the sister of the woman identified by the accused. She has confessed to the crime for which this man has been on trial. The state wishes to make a motion for the dismissal of the indictment.
That motion is granted. Case dismissed.
Henry?
Oh, good morning, Mr. Cromwell.
I trust the new manager feels at home. Henry, by the way.
Yes, sir?
Well, after all, you can't blame me. I saw the young lady this morning, and this isn't the first time that a bank official tried to run off to Mexico with such a tasty young dish.
Suspense.
You've been listening to Perfect Plan, written for Suspense by Peter Fernandez. In a moment, the names of our players and a word about next week's story of Suspense.
Hi. Maybe you'll recall this tuneful reminder of times past. This is Dennis James with something else worth remembering. It's this. You're so right to stay regular with Kellogg's All-Bran. See, it's the normal, natural way to youthful regularity. The whole brand content of Kellogg's All-Bran supplies your system with all the bulk-forming food that you need every day. There's only one All-Bran. It's Kellogg's All-Bran. So relieve irregularity from lack of bulk, as millions do, with a bowl full of Kellogg's All-Bran each morning. ALL-BRAN. It's Kellogg's All-Bran.
Heard in tonight's story were George Petrie as Henry, Elizabeth Lawrence as Shirley, Paul Potter as Cromwell, and Patsy Bruder as Elizabeth. Listen again next week when we return with Two Came Back by Ronald Dawson and Joseph Cochran, from a story by Jules Archer. Another tale well calculated to keep you in suspense. News analysis next, followed by latest CBS News, and Have Gun Will Travel on CBS Radio.
Truly, I've been reading up on hypnosis. Come here and let me try it on you.
I am an officer of the law and don't approve of making a man divulge his secrets. However, I'll stand by in case there's criminology involved.
I just want to clear up some of his problems, Officer Sons.
But I haven't got any problems. I'm the soul of contentment.
Maybe that's your trouble. You're too contented. Lie down, Dooley. You're going to sleep.
I feel so good.
He's under my influence. Now, little tyke-getter, go straight to the beat of your choice.
Astounding. He's heading for Utica Club. 'Cause Utica Club will still take the trouble to age beer the natural way. Utica Club, you see. He's got no problem. He's a happy, well-adjusted beer mug.
Brewed by the West End Brewing Company of Utica, New York.
You're tuned to 590 WROW in Albany. 5:30.
And now, another tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
In just 1 minute, Two Came Back, written for suspense by Ronald Dawson and Joseph Cochran, from a story by Jules Archer.
Pepsi-Cola refreshes without filling. Why? Because it's truly light.
Charlie, you're forgetting something.
Wait, Kay, there's more. Yes, ice-cold Pepsi is the delicious refreshment that goes great at a picnic or a party.
But, Charlie...
And Pepsi goes fast. People like it, so keep plenty handy. There.
Oh, you did fine, except for one thing.
Well, I mentioned lightness and how Pepsi refreshes and how fast it goes.
You left out Pepsi sociability. You know the Be Sociable song.
But, Kay, I can't sing.
I can. Listen. Be sociable, look smart, keep up to date with Pepsi. Drink light, refreshing Pepsi. Stay young and fair, get an air. Be sociable, have a Pepsi.
Well, at least I can say this. Pick up an extra carton of Pepsi today.
Please do.
Moresby to Weewak, where we had to graze the top of the trees to get down to the bumpy landing strip on the edge of the jungle. Gabor Krilovich was getting some last-minute dope from the pilot, while Lily and I waited where we'd unloaded all our gear.
Johnny, you gotta talk to Gabe. He's gotta let me stay at Moresby until you two get back. I'll die in that jungle, Johnny. I couldn't stand it.
Gabe gave you the choice of coming or waiting back in Frisco, Lily, and you decided to come.
Oh, not exactly, Johnny. You saw him. He wrapped those big arms around me and told me if I expected any of the gold, I should come with him. I didn't know then what a jungle looked like.
Gabe is your husband, not me. It's none of my business. He wanted you to come, and here you are.
Johnny, if you loved me...
Love you? When did I ever say I loved you?
Johnny, that night in Frisco...
That night in Frisco can happen to anybody sometimes with a little too much liquor and a girl like you to help. Now, I've got old-fashioned ideas about other guys' wives, and it won't happen again.
Here he comes. Please ask him, Johnny. He'll listen to you.
See those mountains over there? That's where we go. A fella there sell what we need for a trip. Hey, my Lily, you look like his funeral. Come on, give me a big smile.
Gabe, I think we ought to send Lily back to Moresby on the plain. Now, you can't ask a woman, your wife, to risk a trip like this. Now, we'll pick her up on the way back.
Oh, Johnny, no. If we do that, Lily die from loneliness for me, huh, Lily?
I wouldn't be lonely, Gabe. There are plenty of people in Moresby.
Yeah, plenty, man. Maybe you'll not be lonely enough, Lily. So I think you better come with me and Johnny, huh? Come on. I want to get to this trader fella.
Well, where you headed, mates?
Sepik River.
Sepik River? Rum country. Only last week another patrol officer done in up there. Headhunters, you know. Stuck his head up on a pole.
Headhunters?
Look, mates, it's no bloody business of mine, but the country's rough enough on a man. Worse for a woman.
Now, what's worse than getting your head stuck up on a pole?
A white woman's a rare prize up there. They wouldn't kill her. Odds are some native chief would grab her for his number one wife. It happened before.
Nobody take my wife while I'm alive.
They wouldn't expect you to be alive.
Well, I take care of that part, too. Now, here's a list of things we want.
Yeah, well, it looks proper. They've got enough quinine. How about some cheap Trident calico, beads and the like?
No, we don't come to do trading.
Well, in that case, here. And better take a few of these. Better than life insurance.
Look, Gabe, it's American 45s.
We take two and plenty of ammo.
Well, I guess you two know how to use them.
We know. Johnny here was my sarge during war. He saved my life. Good man, Johnny.
Come on, Gabe, the war's over.
Yeah, but not what you do for me. That one don't forget ever.
Come on, let's get rolling, Gabe.
Okay, Johnny. We on our way.
Well, cheerio, mate.
An hour later, we were headed single file over the mountains toward Mai. I followed Gabe, whose broad back hardly bent under the heavy foldable duffel bag of provisions. Lily brought up the rear, carrying a light pack. She walked in sulky silence, but after several hours, spoke.
Gabe!
What you want, Lily?
My feet are killing me. I can't walk another step. You gotta camp here for the night.
Oh, it's only 3:30.
I don't care what time it is. My feet hurt.
We walk for 2 hours yet. Then we be almost over First Mountain.
No.
Lily is right, Gabe. I'm pooped myself. Now, it's only the first day. Break us in easy, huh?
Oh, well, all right. All right, you stay with Lily. I'll get wood for fire.
Johnny.
Yeah.
You think there's all the gold Gabe says there is?
And you saw those samples he carries in that bag around his neck.
Then you do think there's lots of it, huh?
And you don't think I'd give up a good job to come back to this jungle if I didn't think so. Gabe knows what he's doing.
Johnny?
Yeah.
Come here. Johnny, I know what you think of me, but I'm only that way because I'm unhappy and bored. I should never have married Gabe. I want fun and a good time.
Well, the gold will get the fun for you.
Yeah, but I'd still have Gabe. He's the wrong man. Now, look, Johnny. It's dangerous country. Suppose after we got the gold, something should happen to Gabe. It could, and if it did, well, it'd be just us two and the gold.
And how long have you been thinking about that accident, Lily? Doesn't sound like something that you just thought up.
It isn't. It's been on my mind since you first came to the house. That's why I I came on the trip.
Now, you're pretty sure of yourself, aren't you? And of me.
Yeah, Johnny. So sure. Oh, Johnny, please.
All right, Lily, stop that.
Looks like Lily not too lonely without me. It's like I say. I forget gun. Better keep gun with you all time, huh, Johnny?
Yeah.
Never can tell. I bring in wood now.
He saw us, Johnny.
Yeah, the timing was perfect.
Oh, I'm afraid for you, Johnny. He'll kill you. He's insanely jealous.
Or maybe he's got reason for it.
So let him find the gold for us. And then on the way back, Johnny, you've got to kill him before he kills you.
And suppose Gabe doesn't wait until the way back.
That's a chance we got to take, Johnny.
Yeah, I guess you got to take chances if you want to get gold. Chance you've got to take. That's what kept jumping in and out of my mind as we waited and slashed our way along for the next 3 days with mosquitoes as big as hummingbirds swarming about us. I couldn't tell Gabe that Lily had grabbed me and kissed me against my will. I figured it best to be like him, say nothing, pretend it never happened. I figured, too, if he was going to kill me, he'd do it on the way back. I wasn't very big, but still I could carry out a lot of gold. And that's what we'd all come for.
Johnny, Gabe!
Hold up, Gabe.
Come on. Every bone aches.
You look all right. Maybe just tired. We rest a few minutes.
No, it's not enough, Gabe. Lily's got fever, dengue.
Huh? What's that?
It's another name for break-bone fever. It's nothing fatal, but she's got to have 2 days rest.
2 days? Oh, we lose too much time. She rests when we get the gold.
No, she has to get rest now, or she might not be alive when we get to the gold. Now, Gabe, can't you realize that she is a woman? She can't take as much as us?
Yeah, she's woman. You bet I know. You like Lily, eh, Johnny?
Oh, look, Gabe, it's not a question of whether I do or I don't. She's your wife. She's worn out. She has fever.
I think we go on after she rests for hours.
No.
I say so.
Well, then you go on alone. Just blaze a trail. Lily and I will follow after she gets the rest she needs. I could use a day's rest myself, and so could you, only you're too pig-headed to admit it.
I don't need rest, but I think I don't go on without you and Lily.
Gabe, where are you going?
Wait for me, Johnny.
Here, give me your arm. I don't know what Gabe's found, but it must be...
Johnny, look!
The river. The Sepik.
What's all the shouting about? That muddy old river?
Sure, but it means we can give our legs a rest and travel in the boat. After what you've been through, the river route will seem like an excursion.
Oh, thank God. Thank God for the river.
We can't here. Get early start tomorrow. Lily, you go sit in shade. Johnny and I check full boat. See if everything okay for trip down river.
Sure this thing's safe?
Oh, sure, it's safe.
Take it easy, Gabe. The water line is high. After all, this boat was designed for 2, not 3.
Oh, she okay, Johnny. I know. Only when river low with rapids, 3 no good. Otherwise, 3 plenty fine. Ready, Johnny?
Okay, let her go, Gabe. We're on our way. Travel by water was a picnic after hacking our way through that jungle. Lily perked up, spent a lot of time combing her hair, fixing it in a different style each day. And even Gabe relaxed. One hot afternoon, he let us all stop long enough for a cooling swim. Water was a treat. We stayed in about a half an hour. Gabe and Lily were out first and were on the bank drying themselves. I splashed out into the river for a last swim. And then I turned and headed for shore. But I stopped fast. Gabe was looking at me, with a dark scowl on his face. And the .45 in his right hand was aimed right at me. I dived just as the gun roared. And beneath the water, the .45 sounded like a cannon. Well, I stayed under as long as I could. And when I felt mud, I came up, ready to get a lungful of air and then go under again. I saw Gabe with the gun in his hand.
Get out, Johnny! Get out, fast!
Johnny, behind you!
Hit that clock, fella, but don't think him dead. Crocodile! Come up behind you fast. I no shoot till you die. I'm afraid I hit you.
You don't know how lucky you were, Johnny.
Yeah, I know what you mean, Lily. Tenth day on the river, we came to a landmark that Gabe thought he recognized. We pulled ashore, dismantled the full boat, loaded our gear on our backs, and then hacked our way through the jungle. But I couldn't help thinking of Gabe and his deadly .45. Would he kill me when we got to the gold? Or would I have to kill him?
Johnny, look.
What's that?
A native suspension bridge.
Looks like a big spider's web.
Yeah, could be. Gabe, this wasn't built by pigeons. You got a clip in that gat?
Yeah, Johnny.
That afternoon, the jungle dissolved into a clearing. Gabe quickened his pace and went on ahead. Suddenly, he stopped, pointed at something. Then he dropped his pack and ran on ahead. When Lily and I came up to him, he was kneeling in a dry riverbed, digging furiously with his fingers.
Johnny, this is him. This is the place I reached when I was AWOL and turned back. Look, Johnny.
That's glittery stuff. Is it gold?
Yeah, quartz, full of the stuff. As soon as he breaks it down in the pestle, we'll know if this trip was necessary.
Look, Johnny.
It was. All we have to do is find the source of this, and we're riding the gravy train.
I say, that mountain over there. We camp here tonight. Tomorrow, we dig in mountain.
6 days later, we skidded down the mountain slope with packs far heavier than we'd carried up. We sang, talked ourselves hoarse, and argued whether we had 500,000 or 600,000 worth of gold. The first night of the return, we pitched camp by the river, exhausted. Gabe began to snore a minute after he hit the hammock. The big guy was worn out. He dug as much gold as Lily and I had together. We had the gold, all right. But now what? Who's there? Who's there?
Johnny.
Oh, it's you.
Johnny, why not now?
Look, I can't do it. He saved my life the other day.
Because he didn't have the gold yet. But now he has. Are you going to wait for him to shoot you?
Will you keep your voice down, you fool? Listen, Lily, it's no good. I wouldn't kill Gabe or anyone else for you. I've been thinking about this. I know what you want.
I want you, Johnny.
No. Only the gold. You thought you could dazzle me into getting rid of Gabe and then have the murder to hold over me. Then there'd be only one to take care of all that gold. You.
Too smart to live, aren't you?
Call it anything you like.
Maybe we can fix that, too. Maybe Gabe has ideas what to do about his best friend, his trusted friend, who makes passes at his wife when his back's turned. Gabe loves me more than anything. I think I could get him to hate his friend.
In just a moment, we will return for the concluding act of Suspense.
You know, we hear a lot these days about the population explosion. The fact that there's a whale of a lot more people around these days affects most of us to some extent, but it's going to give some real trouble in just a few years. That's when America's enormous post-war crop of new citizens begins knocking at the doors of the nation's colleges and universities. Already classrooms are crowded to the bursting point, qualified teachers are in critically short supply,
And when that coming tidal wave of college applications hits these schools, well, they're going to be completely swamped unless we do something about it right away. So find out what you and your civic or religious group can do to help solve this problem. Write for a free booklet to Higher Education, Box 36, Times Square Station, New York 36.
Next morning, as we started down the mountain, it was in marked contrast to the jubilation of the day before. Gabe was matter of fact, and as his eyes met mine, they were perfect blanks. Lily reverted to sulky silence as she followed me, and I was glad that we bought only 2 45s. But she didn't need one to get rid of me. She went to work on Gabe and sold him on the idea that I'd made passes at her. There's no telling what he'd do, but it wouldn't be good for me.
Down, Johnny.
Lily, down. All right, now, crawl over there. Now, keep low.
Honey, this is bad.
Who are they, Johnny?
Natives, headhunters.
Johnny, I'm scared.
Who isn't? Don't shake my arm when I'm about to shoot.
Johnny, we soon run out of ammo. We got one chance. You think you hold them off 20 minutes?
I can try.
I get full both together. We get away by river, down rapids.
That's suicide, Gabe. I missed him.
I think I get us through, Johnny. Now, when you hear me fire shot, run to the rapids.
Did he make it all right?
Yeah, I don't think they saw us.
Right. Still firing this tree.
John, up there in that tree. Oh, horrible.
All right, now here's how we work it. I pace my shots as far apart as possible. So when we clear out, they won't know that we're gone.
If we go, John.
Keep down, you fool.
How do we know Gabe will signal? What's to prevent him from getting in that boat and leaving us both here? I'm going to Gabe.
Lily! My watch showed me that Gabe had gone 16 minutes. I never fired until I had a target, and I wasn't missing. And then 17 minutes. I put another one of them out of action. I checked my bullets. About 14 left. Then 18 minutes. Sweat broke out on me. Would Gabe remember that I'd saved his life, or would he remember Lily's arms around my neck? And now it was 19 minutes. And then the roof caved in. They discovered that Gabe was gone. And an arrow came from a new angle. They were flanking me. It looked like I was being left behind now. Lily hated me, and she persuaded Gabe to leave me. Another arrow from a right angle. Well, this was it. I listened for Gabriel's horn. But instead, it was Gabe's signal. I pumped 3 fast shots into the brush and ran. Finally, I spotted the boat, and Gabe and Lily waiting. Neither wore any gear, which apparently had already been stowed in the boat. And finally, I reached the rapids.
Good boy, Johnny. Good boy.
I never thought I'd get this far.
Everything is ready.
Let's get going, Gabe. Hurry.
One thing I have not said to you.
What? Can't it wait?
Oh, better tell you now. Rapids. Too shallow. Too fast. Rocks too many.
What are you getting at, Gabe?
This boat. She go down all right with 2, but not with 3.
I thought I saw a faint smile on Lily's drawn lips. I felt deeply sick. Okay, Gabe, but leave your gun and ammo behind, will you?
Why?
Because I'll need it.
Wait a minute, Johnny. Maybe we ask Lily who she thinks stay here. Maybe it's better for Gabe to stay, huh, Lily?
I could never make a decision like that.
Oh, why not? It's easy for you.
Well, why don't you and Johnny decide that between yourselves, huh?
How we do that?
You both have guns. Why not a duel?
A duel?
Why not? It'll only take a second. Then the one who remains will never need to know what happened to him.
Gabe, they spotted us. Give me the ammo.
Get in, Johnny.
No.
Get in both, Johnny.
What about Lily?
I say get in both.
I can't let you do this, Gabe.
Johnny, get in both or I kill you.
He snatched the gun from my hand and leveled 2 barrels at me. There was a gleam in his tight black eyes I'd never seen before. A gleam so fierce it seemed to paralyze my will. Hesitantly, I pushed the stern of the boat into the wild, tugging rapids. I got in and held onto a small tree branch to prevent the boats being swept away.
Gabe.
Lily, if Johnny or me stay here, they kill us. But they don't kill you. Chief take you for a wife, like that Aussie in Hut tell us. Chief's wife, Lily.
No, Gabe.
Chief's wife. Pretty good, huh? Maybe he don't mind too much if you make eyes at other boys in his tribe.
Gabe, you're crazy. You can't do this.
Johnny saved my life. Lily, you ruined my life. You try get Johnny for to kill me. Anyhow, only man who can get both down big rapids like this is me. Oh, Johnny and me go.
No!
I hope new husband make you very happy. Goodbye, Lily.
Yay!
Okay, Johnny, we go. You don't touch paddle. Leave that to Gabe.
Yay! Johnny!
Suspense.
You've been listening to Two Came Back, from a story by Jules Archer, written for Suspense by Ronald Dawson and Joseph Cochran. In a moment, the names of our players and a word about next week's story of Suspense. Hi, this is Dennis James with a longtime favorite. The long-time favorites are usually the best, aren't they? And one favorite folks have relied on over the years is Kellogg's All Brand. Since 1919, America's favorite natural laxative cereal. Kellogg's All Brand is the safe, gentle way to overcome irregularity caused by lack of bulk in your diet. It tastes good, too, and it never gets mushy in milk. There's only one All Brand, Kellogg's All Brand. So relieve constipation the way millions do with Kellogg's All Brand. ALL-BRAN. Yes, you're so right to stay regular with Kellogg's All Brand. Try it, okay? Okay. In tonight's story, were Bob Reddick as Johnny, Connie Lemke as Lily, and Robert Donnelly as Krilovich. Listen again next week when we return with Elemental by Stephen Vincent Benet, another tale well calculated to keep you in suspense. News analysis next, followed by the latest CBS news and Have Gun Will
Radio 59 WROW, first on the dial.
And now, another tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Elemental, adapted for suspense from a story by Stephen Vincent Benet.
Thirsty people everywhere prefer ice-cold Pepsi-Cola. And because it's light, it refreshes without filling.
Charlie, be sociable.
I am, Kay. Pepsi is a favorite of thirsty people from Maine to Hawaii, from Alaska to Florida.
Charlie.
It's perfect for parties or picnics, so serve Pepsi to your guests.
That's helpful, but...
This is the sociable part. Keep plenty of Pepsi ice cold and ready. Remember, it goes fast because everybody likes Pepsi.
Singing still sounds more inviting. May I? Be sociable, look smart, keep up to date with Pepsi. Drink light, refreshing Pepsi. Stay young and fair and debonair. Be sociable, have a Pepsi.
But singing doesn't say, pick up an extra carton of Pepsi today. Better yet, get a case.
You do that.
A young man, an assistant in history at Harvard University, sits across from his host at a little dinner for two in a big, ugly residence on Madison Avenue. And now the after-dinner talk has somehow drifted to elementals.
I was speaking, Mr. Latimer, of the elementals of life itself. What rules this curious thing called human existence? What forces sway it most wholly and make it a pageant or tragedy? Or only a gray succession of lackluster days?
I'm afraid I haven't thought about that too much, Mr. Slake.
An historian? Well, I don't suppose it can be helped these days. Would you care for more Rabacchio? Or perhaps the coq gratin?
No, thanks. Nothing more. It was delicious.
How nice of you to be so pleased. I must confess I found the bavette prepared, shall we say, a little beyond al dente. Still, your pleasure allows me to excuse the oversight. Your gratification is my own.
I thought it was perfect.
Good. The abbacchio, the little spring lamb, was actually less than 6 pounds on the hoof. Barely able to walk, I should say.
6 pounds?
A little less. And all the way from Rome. I suppose it's a shame in a way, but then refinement of appetite is bound to lead to what I imagine you think of as cruelty.
Oh, I do think it's cruel. I don't see why refinement of appetite, as you call it, should necessarily lead to cruelty.
Don't you? What do you say to a bit of pasticceria and an excellent marsala I stumbled on in Sicily?
Impossible.
Oh, that's too bad. Tonight I've wanted to especially honor you for your flawless translation of Guiu Ciardini.
Thank you. And forgive me, it's just too much.
Really? Perhaps a little later, the beautiful country cheese, bel paese and pears. But for now, my question, Mr. Latimer, was about essentials. What would you say was the essential, invisible power that rules all human affairs?
I really couldn't say. Unless you mean God.
I was thinking of something quite different. And it was you who clarified it for me in your remarkably terse version of the chapter on the merry diversions of His Highness, Prince Alessandro.
Prince Alessandro. Yes, I remembered His Highness very well. And I remember the agony of the translation, the endless searching for the exact word in each sentence of the chapter, describing the 15th century prince and his refined and exquisite delights. And then I heard Slake's voice again, soft and purring like a gigantic cat.
I understand you're engaged to be married, Mr. Latimer.
Yes, sir, I am.
So you will forgive me if I presume that you're in love.
You embarrass me. But I think you can presume that we both are. That is to say, I love Catherine and Catherine loves me.
Ah, so. Catherine Vane, I believe?
Yes, Catherine Vane.
Would you say then that love was one of the powers that guide the destiny of men?
Yes, I would. Wouldn't you?
On the contrary. I venture to say that love is the most fragile of things, always evanescent, disappearing. Much too delicate to last.
And yet love has been known to build empires.
Romantic nonsense. Hate and fear and hunger have created empires. They always will. There are only 3 prime movers in this vagrant piece of oddity we please to call the human soul.
I don't believe you.
I see. You think love can hold out against fear?
Yes.
And love can stand against hate?
Yes.
Now, do you think love can survive hunger?
Yes, I most certainly do.
Very well, then. Let's get back to Alessandro and the 2 lovers whose devotion was a proverb in his court. They were willing to undergo anything in life or death for each other.
Alessandro was a madman.
Perhaps. In any case, he suggested, as you remember, a test of this immortal emotion. A very simple test.
Hardly simple. His Highness was well known for his cruel and sensitive torture.
But only with reason. And in this case, a reward was offered if they withstood the ordeal. And it was liberal enough. A dukedom for the man, a permanent revenue for them both, and titles of honor for each.
But the penalty, Mr. Slade.
Why, death, of course. Why not?
Carried out by one of Alessandro's curious methods of making people die.
True. But even so, Guiu Ciardini says the lovers were genuinely delighted to accept the test. They embraced it, he said, as if they were to dance together at feast day, with great nobleness and joy of heart. But as you know, the test, unfortunately, was an elemental one. Hunger. Hunger for 10 days. That's all, Mr. Latimer.
Yes, but in separate cubicles with no knowledge of time.
An inconvenience, perhaps, but not an indecency.
Having to stare at each other through a glass partition, but unable to speak.
Yes, wasn't that a pretty idea? And on the 10th day, the partition removed and one small piece of bread thrown into them.
It wasn't a fair test. By no means a fair test. Giving them food and then making them wait a half hour before touching it.
And yet if this elemental love of theirs had been greater than elemental hunger for 1 half hour, they both would have had their heart's desire forever.
But it was the means, the dragging out of starvation.
It was hunger. The elemental. Guiu Ciardini says it was difficult at first for the men who were to take them to execution to separate them. They had torn and entwined their way into such a deadly knot in their death grapple for that one small piece of bread. They acted as any 2 people would have acted. Any 2 would have been the same.
Any 2 would not. They failed because their love wasn't big enough, certainly. But Well, some people would have been big enough. Some loves would.
Some people would have been big enough, you say. I wonder. I very much wonder, Mr. Latimer, just what people you mean.
Oh, dozens. Most people, or half of them at any rate, even now.
Mr. Latimer, would you?
Would I be willing to undergo Alessandro's test? To prove what? That love was durable? That man was not ridden and spurred by fear and hate and hunger alone? Surely Slake in his comfortable boredom was playing hypothetical games. And he had dragged me back 4 centuries to play with him.
Well, Mr. Latimer, does it frighten you? Or would you be willing to wager your future professorship, say on your and one woman's ability to withstand Alessandro's test? Are you absolutely sure of yourself and the lady in question?
This strikes me as an elaborate joke, Mr. Slake. But of course I'm sure.
Very well, then. Suppose we try it.
What? Oh, Mr. Slake, the premise is preposterous.
As to the stakes, I could hardly ask you to put up your lives in forfeit, things being what they are. But a written promise from you that you would give up your present career forever and enter any business I wished you to, at a salary entirely at my discretion. That would be quite sufficient in case either one of you failed.
You can't be serious, Mr. Slake. The idea would be fantastic if it weren't so insolent.
Should the test be withstood successfully, and I should not require more than 20 minutes' duration for the final bread to stay in your common cubicle, a check for $20,000 to be delivered to you the same day.
$20,000. It meant that Catherine and I could marry at once instead of waiting another year. It meant leisure for research. It meant a home and children. It meant security. Everything that Catherine and I wanted most in life. But the conditions were so unreal, so lost in antiquity, that I could only feel as though I were caught in a silken net and unable to get out.
Well, Mr. Latimer, I offer.
And I refuse. It's idiotic.
Idiotic? Will you remember it that way when you're poor and at your wits' end? Or will you remember that you might have had $20,000 for the asking in exchange for a little courage?
I don't know. But I'll be frank with you, Mr. Slake. If you'd made your incredible offer to me alone, I'd have jumped at it. But as it is...
Of course, the young lady, Miss Vane, would be unable to bear it.
What are you doing?
Nothing, Mr. Latimer, nothing. Merely a notation. You see, I have a whim, since you are so obdurate. I should like very much to find out what Miss Catherine Vane will say to this trifling experiment of mine.
In just a moment, we will return for the second act of Suspense.
You know, folks, a good, thick, barbecued steak on your table is the finest compliment you can pay your guests. That's why when you've got the best meat there is, it's important to get the best flavor out of it. May I recommend using French's Worcestershire in your barbecue sauce? You see, French's Worcestershire has 15 different spices and other ingredients blended into it. Not 2 or 3 measly old things, but 15. This French's Worcestershire recipe of spices and other ingredients, when added to your own hot or sweet barbecue sauce, brings out every last bit of the wonderful, juicy flavor in food, where you can barely keep your mouth from watering. See the difference French's Worcestershire makes in your barbecue sauce. Send for this special offer. Get 12 delicious new barbecue sauce recipes. Just write Barbecue Book, Box 56, that's Box 56, Rochester, New York.
Good evening, Mr. Latimer.
Good evening, Mr. Slake.
Everything perfectly all right, Mr. Latimer?
Everything entirely satisfactory.
Well, charming. You're admirable guests, Mr. Latimer, you and Miss Vane. I really wished we were at dinner tonight. The bisque had a trifle too much whipped cream in it, but the fish was perfection. Brodetto, you know. An ancient Spartan preparation. Stop it. Oh, did you? I forgot. My apologies. And by the way, I trust you understand the inconvenience of no soap or toothpaste. Cleansing, to be sure, but also edible. I am sorry.
I have no complaints.
No complaints. Very well, then. Good night.
The door closed on the ruddy color of Slake's superbly well-fed face. And I turned away to look at the little white dents my teeth had made in the flesh of my wrist. I forced my eyes up and away from those pale hunger markings. Away and around the walls of the neat, luxuriously decorated box of a room I had come to know completely by heart. How long had it been? Slake visited us twice a day. And how many times had he come already? 8, I think. Yes, I can still remember that much. 8. That would be 4 days. A short time. And how long ago it seems that the contracts were drawn.
As you see, my dears, a miniature apartment on the 3rd floor. 7 rooms in all, and all soundproofed. I use it whenever a problem chances to come up that I wish to think over entirely undisturbed. We could carry out our little experiment here in perfect peace.
Catherine, you understand this is simply a cruel and useless charade. It's insane, and I refuse.
$20,000 for 1 week's lack of occupation.
Yes, Mr. Slake, if we win.
And, of course, you will. In consideration of the fact that neither of you, in all probability, possesses a Renaissance physique, I would be willing to shorten the time to 7 days.
But what in the world is there in it for you?
Amusement. In the old days, they had gladiatorial games, and that was as it should be. You see, I agree with Juvenal the Roman, who said that the only needs in life are bread and circuses. And this is my circus. You may have the bread, if you can wait for it.
The answer is no.
Oh, Sherry, darling, just think now. It's everything we want, Sherry. Everything now. And it's ours if we only have the courage to take it.
Of course, Mr. Latimer, if you have doubts, I would be willing, if necessary, to carry out the experiment with Miss Vane alone. The conditions might have to be altered somewhat, but the terms would be the same.
Oh, yes, Sherry, yes. I'd rather have it that way, really I would. Then there would only be one of us, but it would be for both.
The first day wasn't bad at all. After all, 2 ordinary human beings, physically fit enough, not weakling. The Slake had given us Bibles and other religious works. It seemed ridiculous to think we couldn't hold out 7 days without food. But the second day was worse in a way than the 4th. The pain had been sharper then, and toward the end of the day the giddiness was bad. It made your body feel light all over like a cork, and with it the fierce and intermittent spurts of pain as if it were filled with burning air. And then as time went by, my sense of time went with it. There was only pain now. Terrible, terrible pain. Pain that was as much a part of me as my ticking heart. And then Slake came again. How many times he had visited, I no longer knew.
Still no complaints, Mr. Latimer?
Still no complaint.
I'm sorry to have taken away your books, but the teeth marks and the leather binding of the Hindu book gave me no other choice. I'm sure you understand.
I understand.
And after all, it's a mere question of hours, shall we say?
Hours? Hours?
Or shall we say days?
Days? Is it days?
I'm afraid you'll have to puzzle that out for yourself, Mr. Latimer.
In just a moment, we will return for the concluding act of Suspense.
Munch, munch, munch a bunch of Fritos. Corn chips, it's not polite to smack your lips, but you can't help it with Fritos corn chips. Munch, munch, munch a bunch of Fritos. Corn chips.
That's right, Fritos corn chips. So crisp and light, there's contentment in every munch. Serve them at outdoor parties, as snacks, or with dips.
Fritos corn chips are so good with cold drinks, everyone will want to munch a bunch. Fritos have a flavor no other kind of chip can match.
Munch, munch, munch a bunch of Fritos, corn chips.
Fritos are golden chips of corn just made to munch. Keep Fritos corn chips on hand for the perfect warm weather between meal treat. Serve them with sandwiches, salads. Fritos corn chips are full of good, crisp, refreshing flavor. Fritos, Fritos corn chips.
Munch, munch, munch a bunch of Fritos, corn chips.
Slake!
Right here, Mr. Latimer.
I'm afraid I shall have to withdraw from the contest.
Really? When only a few more hours would have brought us to the interesting part?
Yes.
According to the agreement, Mr. Latimer...
I don't care about the agreement.
Neither of you may be released without the full written consent of the other.
I'll find it so she... Just look at her.
A little less plump, perhaps. A forfeiture clause would be invoked, of course.
I don't care.
And I could use your brains for, let us say, 10 years.
Anything. She can't walk anymore. She can't move, don't you see?
You know, Mr. Latimer, the favorite Roman breakfast was bread dipped in wine.
Get her to sign.
Don't touch me, Mr. Latimer. Don't touch me.
Please.
What an exhibition of temper. What a pitiful exhibition. I'll see what the young lady has to say.
I remember that Slate came back and said that Catherine had refused to sign. But I don't remember being carried down the corridor and placed in the other cubicle. I remember only colors that streaked before my eyes like blots of livid light. Piercing colors of sunset orange and scarlet and bright green. Reeling dreams like the patterns a madman draws in the air. And at the end of it, a collapse into broken piece. A piece so complete that I thought I had died. But turning on my couch, I saw another figure in the room. And between our two couches, there was something on the floor. Something solid and white. A piece of bread. And now the figure on the other couch stirred. Its great eyes stared at the bread. The thing on the other couch had seen the food, too, and wanted it as bitterly as I wanted it. But I was careful. I put my hand slowly in front of me like the paws of a cat and carefully slid to the floor. I waited on all fours for a moment, waiting to see what that woman would do. But she didn't get down from the couch to fight me for the food. She wasn't able. She could only lie there and stare at it with hopeless eyes. Who was that strange, gaunt woman who didn't move to take the bread from me? I reached out slowly, very slowly, and I touched the bread. Its surface was rough and pleasant, exquisite. Good bread, and it was mine. In a minute, I'd feel that first sweet taste of it on my tongue. But there was something wrong, and I couldn't think of what it was. And so I brought the bread carefully to my mouth. Not a crumb would be lost.
Sherwood. Sherry. Oh, Sherry, dear. Oh, Sherry, I'm so hungry.
Catherine, that was it. That's what I forgot. It was Catherine who was hungry, and she'd have to eat right now. That was Catherine. That lean image of fever on the couch was Catherine, and she was hungry. I began the immense journey across the floor to the other couch. Catherine was hungry, so she must be fed.
Dear Sherry.
Darling Catherine. Here, darling. Bread. Eat it.
Oh, no, you first, dear. You're hungrier.
No, dear. No.
Oh, Sherry, you got the bread.
Yes. We've got to wait. If you can.
I'll try.
Time. All over. Oh, pick it up, you babies. Pick it up. It's yours. Well, do you think I'm going to feed you?
Suspense.
You've been listening to Elemental, adapted for suspense from a story by Stephen Vincent Benet. In a moment, the names of our players and a word about next week's story of Suspense.
Hi, this is Dennis James. Say, remember way back when this melody was popular? There's something very special about a long-time favorite, isn't there? Well, folks feel the same way about one of Kellogg's favorites, Kellogg's All Brand. Going on 41 years now, it's been America's most popular good food way to fight irregularity from lack of bulk. Because it's whole brand, Kellogg's All Brand gentles away irregularity safely and reliably. And because it's deep toasted for extra crispness, it never gets mushy in milk. There's only one All Brand, Kellogg's All Brand. That's ALL-BRAN. Kellogg's All Brand.
Heard in tonight's story were Phil Meader as Latimer, Santos Ortega as Slate, and Ellen McRae as Catherine. Listen again next week when we return with 60 Grand Missing by Robert Arthur, another tale well calculated to keep you in
Suspense.
News analysis next, followed by latest CBS news, and Have Gun Will Travel on CBS.
A plainclothes detective is a man under many pressures. His life is lived in contact with crime. Most crimes involve money, sometimes a great deal of money. And it can happen that a detective solves a crime involving money, but somehow the money stays missing. Then he's on the spot. Ugly whispers start behind his back, and only he knows whether he is innocent or...
Sure, there was money missing. 60 grand, to be exact. Tony Belmont and two hoods took it away from the Summit Finance Company by holding up one of their messengers. But I thought I recognized the description the messenger gave of the leader, and I brought in Tony. But I didn't bring in the money. And 60 grand's a lot of dough. So there was bound to be talk. Well, talk's cheap. And I wasn't surprised when I walked into the precinct house and got a sour look from Sergeant Brunson on the desk. Hello, Brunson. What's booked?
Hello, Dresser.
Don't be so enthusiastic. It's bad for your heart. I said, what's booked?
A couple of break-ins, kid stuff, no money in them.
What's that supposed to mean?
I wouldn't know, Dresser.
I want to see Sloppy Peters. Where is he?
You could look downstairs on the pistol range.
Thanks, I think. I went down the splintered old stairs to the pistol range in the basement. Sloppy Peters was my sidekick. He usually dressed like a scarecrow after a bad winter. If he ate soup, Sloppy spilled it on himself. If he got his hand dirty, he mopped his hand over his face, got that dirty, too. Half the time, his socks didn't match. But he knew his job. Down on the range, Sloppy was popping away with his police special. Hiya, hey, hiya. Hey, Sloppy, I said hello.
I heard you.
Hey, what's eating you?
Why should anything be eating me?
Well, that's what I'm asking you. Hey, you're holding your gun wrong again. Let me show you. There. 5 in the black. Hey, Sloppy, where are you going? But Sloppy Peters had turned his back and walked out. I spent the afternoon going over the break-in, got back to the precinct in the evening. I was checking out. I had on a new outfit, $150 tan linen suit, custom-made silk shirt, $50 two-tone shoes, and a $10 tie. But what was anybody to say? Clothes were my gimmick, my trademark. The newspapers even had a nickname for me, Nifty Dresser. And besides, I said it was vacation time for me. I expected a comment on my new duds from Bronson, but he just looked at me and looked away. Hey, Bronson, I'm talking to you.
Oh, it's you, Dresser. What do you want?
Just a civil answer. Is Sloppy Peters around?
Should he be around?
Never mind whether he should be or not. Is he?
I couldn't say, Dresser. I couldn't say. Maybe he's out looking for some missing dough.
Yeah? Just what dough did you have in mind?
Oh, I heard tell something about a payroll being missing. Somebody, I forget his name, caught the hold-up guy all right, but somehow the money got mislaid. 60 grand, I think it was.
That's right. 60 grand. And it was me who caught the hot rod who stole it. Tony Belmont.
So it was. It all comes back to me now. Congratulations. Too bad you didn't find the dough, too. Or did you?
Maybe we can finish this interesting discussion later on, Sergeant. Right now, I'm looking for Peters.
Anytime, Dresser, anytime.
I turned on my heel and walked out. By now, the talk was all over the precinct that Sloppy had broken up with his old sidekick, Nifty Dresser, because of this missing 60 grand and hold-up loot. But I had to find Sloppy. So I started making the rounds. A little later, I dropped into the Ace Bowling Alley on 10th Avenue to have a little chat with Ace himself.
Dresser! Hey, say, man, you're hip tonight. You're really hip. Oh, wait a minute. Wait till I put on my dark glasses before I look at you.
It's a new outfit. You like it, huh?
Yeah, well, if this was Christmas, I'd just stand you in the corner to beat a Christmas tree. Looks like money. Real money.
Yeah. It does at that, huh?
Hey, I hear you're going on vacation tomorrow.
That's right. 2 weeks at the beach.
You coming back in 2 weeks, I suppose?
Well, certainly I'm coming back. Why shouldn't I?
Oh, no reason. Unless maybe you came into money and decided to live it up.
My rich uncle left me out of his will. He always hated cops. What's on your mind, Ace?
Oh, nothing personal, Dresser. But there's talk going around.
Yeah, such as?
Well, last week, 3 hot rods hold up the Summit Finance Company and get away with 60 grand. The clerk was able to describe one of them.
That's right. I recognize the description. Tony Belmont. So
you picked up Tony in his room. You left Sloppy Peters downstairs and handled Tony single-handed. You were alone with him 15 minutes.
Oh, I spent 15 minutes trying to make him tell me who the 2 muscle men were who helped him. Why, anything wrong with that?
Am I saying there was? But the talk goes around that Tony still has that 60 grand. He hadn't split it up yet. Tony isn't talking, of course. Tony never talks. But there's some people who think that 60 grand is still around.
Well, of course it's still around. Everybody, including my sidekick, Sloppy Peters, thinks I got my mitts on that 60 grand and then latched onto it, right?
That's the talk, Preston. That's the talk.
Well, let him talk, Ace. Talk is one thing. Proving it is another. I left the Ace Bowling Alley and went on making the rounds. A bar here, a dance hall there. All places where I might pick up a whisper of interest to a cop. At each place, I asked for Sloppy Peters, but nobody had seen him. Apparently, Sloppy had crawled into a hole and disappeared. It wasn't like him. I wanted to find Sloppy, and I wanted to find 2 unknown muscle men who'd been in with Tony Belmont on that holdup. Even if by any chance I was planning on taking a vacation, from which I wouldn't bother to come back, I didn't want to leave those 2 hoods on the loose. I wanted them behind bars for a long time. Then in a pool parlor on 9th, I got my first lead from Nick the Pick, a combo pickpocket and pool shark.
Oh, Doc. Hello, Nick. Watch me put the 7-ball in the side pocket.
Hey, nice shot.
The rumble is you're looking for your sidekick.
You seen him?
Right ball in the end pocket.
Well?
Answering in words of 1 syllable? No.
And what's your interest?
9 ball in his side pocket. Yeah. I never met.
Neither do I. Now, what do you know about Sloppy Peters?
No. That was a guy.
What do you say?
10 ball in the M pocket.
What did he say?
Luigi's Bar and Grill, half an hour ago.
Thanks.
How much?
I started down the dark side street for Luigi's Bar and Grill. Trail was getting hot now, too hot. Because the red neon sign that said Luigi's was 50 yards ahead of me when footsteps scuffed in a doorway just as I passed. Something jabbed into my back and a voice said,
"Okay, close horse. Stand quiet with your hands up. Or I'll give you a chance to see how you like the new two-piece backbone."
In just a moment, we will return for the second.
It was a gun in my back. There were 2 men behind me, a big one and a little one. I recognized the voices. Phil Whip, the little one, and Wheezy Blaine, the big one. Wheezy took my gun and then frisked me.
$50, that's all he's got. The dough ain't here.
What do you expect? Did he be carrying it on him? Think he'd have 60 grand in his pocket? He's got it hid someplace.
Hello, Phil, Wheezy. So you 2 metal giants were the ones in on the finance company hold up with Tony Belmont.
Shut up, Dresser. We'll do the talking.
So you laid a trap for me, huh? You knew I was looking for Sloppy Peters. You left word he was in Luigi's to get me to come this way.
All right, since you feel so much like talking, talk.
About what?
About where you hid the stuff.
What stuff?
Let me slap his ears, Phil. That'll make him
talk.
talk.
Slap your nose. Professor, we know you got that 60 grand hid someplace.
You know more than I do.
Okay, you're asking for it. Oh.
Now let me clip him one.
I'll clip you. Just keep your eyes open so we ain't interrupted.
Okay, Phil. Okay, but he's gone.
He'll talk. He'll sing like a quartet. Now listen, Professor.
I'm listening, but so far I don't hear much.
We know you got the dough. Tony Belmont slipped word on the grapevine. You took it.
You can fool the police commissioner, but you're not putting anything over on us. After you nabbed Belmont, you managed to hide the payroll loot someplace. Now, where is it?
Suppose I say I don't know.
In that case... We can keep this up all night, you know. Question is, can you take it all night? What about it, Dresser?
Okay. Maybe I know where the money is.
Okay, then. Since you know where it is, suppose you tell us.
I hid it in the junkyard behind Belmont's rooming house.
The junkyard? Yeah, Phil, there is a junkyard right out the back way and down the alley.
That's it. I locked Belmont in a closet. See, I wrapped the door in a newspaper, and I went down the back way while Sloppy Peters waited for me out front. Then I hid the money, went back and got Belmont, and I took him down the front lane.
You cops are all alike. The only difference between you and us is we admit we're crooks.
The difference between you and me is that you're stupid.
Now, can I clip him, Phil?
No. Now he's going to lead us to the dough. There's an alley ahead leads to that junkyard. Start moving, Dresser.
I started moving. With a gun nudging me in the kidney, there was nothing else to do. We went down a long, dark alley, listening to the televisions playing in the buildings we passed. The people quarreling, babies crying. Then we came to a high board fence that surrounded the junkyard, and I stopped.
What are you stopping for?
Well, here's the junkyard. How are we going to get in?
You got in the other time. You can get in this time.
Oh, that was from the other alley. You see, there was a loose board.
Wheezy.
Yeah, Phil.
Look for a loose board so we can get through this fence.
Wheezy Blaine began yanking at the fence, while Phil Webb kept the gun grinding hard into my back. I was in no hurry. I knew they were figuring on killing me as soon as they had their hands on the money. Shooting me in the back and leaving me along with the old boilers and washtubs in the junkyard. I was perfectly willing to postpone that as long as possible. Then, Wheezy Blaine found the loose board. Phil used his gun to steer me to the opening, and we all squeezed through.
Okay. What are you stopping for?
I'm just trying to figure where we are. Now, the other time I got in this junkyard from the other side.
If you're stalling, you're going to be sorry.
I hid the money inside an old furnace, someplace about the middle. Ought to be over this way, here. I led the way toward the center of the junkyard. Rusty iron ripped holes in my new suit. And a cat jumped up snarling. There were a million people inside a few blocks of us, but there in the silence of that deserted junkyard, Phil and Wheezy and I might have been the last men alive in the whole world.
Okay. Now what are you stopping for?
Someplace around here I hit the dough. One of these old furnaces.
Which one? Don't try to stall.
Listen, I was in a hurry. I crammed the money into an old furnace. Just let me look in this one here. No, it's not here. Maybe it's that one over there. Now my suit was covered with a messy black stain from reaching around inside the furnace. There wasn't much left of my outfit by now, but this was my life that was worrying me, not my clothes. They followed close behind me as I worked my way toward the other furnace. An overturned bathtub lay about 10 feet from it. On the bathtub, a black cat sat and just watched us.
Hey, look at Phil.
A black cat, that's bad luck.
Bad luck for Dresser if this ain't the right furnace. Because then I'll know he's stalling.
No. This is it. I'm positive of it. Yeah, the package is right inside the firebox. There. Here it is. It's right here.
In just a moment, we will return for the concluding act of Suspense.
I reached inside the antique furnace, and there was the package. But it didn't hold any money. It held a revolver. As soon as I had it in my hands, I dropped to my knees and I yelled, "Okay, Sloppy, shoot!"
Phil, the bathtub is shooting at it. Out! But the trick dresser up, fix your wagon!
I ducked behind some scrap iron. Before Wheezy Blaine could find cover, he grunted and fell over an old washtub and lay there. Bill Whip started to run. I couldn't get a shot at him. The bathtub that Sloppy Peters was hiding under heaved and jerked and toppled over. Sloppy stood up, a 6-foot scarecrow, and lifted his gun. Bill Whip fell into some rusty machinery and lay there, not even moving. Sloppy Peters put his gun away and came over to help me up. I had gotten tangled up in some loose wire.
Okay, Johnny. Give me a hand. That's it.
Oh. Thanks, Sloppy. Now, let's find the money.
It's here, is it?
Well, sure it is. I told you it was. In the same boiler where I had the gun hid. I'd get it right out. Yeah, here it is. In the pillowcase, I dumped it in after I cuffed Tony Belmont. Yeah. Stay just as safe as in a vault.
Let's have a look at it.
Sure. Pretty, isn't it?
Yeah, very pretty. Now let me have it.
Let you have it.
All of it. Now don't argue, Johnny.
Your gun? What the devil?
The money, Johnny.
You want all of it?
All of it. Start walking, Johnny, toward the street. And don't hurry. We have a little trip to take.
When Sloppy Peters' gun nudged me, I did what he said. Oh, I was tired of having gun for my ribs. But his grim look told me he wasn't fooled. We hailed a cab. It took us to headquarters, and then we walked up to see the commissioner's office. Sloppy put the pillowcase of money on the commissioner's desk and told him the story.
Do I understand, Detective Peters, that you are charging Detective Dresser with trying to appropriate this $60,000 for himself?
Yes, sir. I hate to do it. Believe me, Johnny, I'd rather cut off my arm. There's nothing else I can do. He had a smart scheme to get Wheezy Blaine and Phil Whip out of hiding, but I could tell he was planning to keep the money. I pretended to go along with him, sir, in order to locate the money.
Excuse me, Detective Peters. Well, Dresser, I guess you're a better actor than you realize.
Your looks that way, sir.
Actor, Commissioner? I don't understand.
Your partner came to me 3 days ago, Detective Peters, and told me where the money was and what he was planning. I gave him my okay, even to leaving the money hidden. Because there are a lot of ears in this city, and if the money was actually turned in, someone might have talked.
Yeah, you mean, Johnny, you were just acting like a crooked cop?
Weren't you? When you took that money from me, after all, $60,000, huh?
Is $60,000.
Yeah.
That's the way I thought you figured.
Peters, I'm glad you did what you did. Convincing proof of your own integrity. And Dresser?
Yes, sir?
I want to congratulate you. It was a well-worked-out plan. Except for one bad mistake.
Mistake, Commissioner?
Well, look at your partner. I believe they call him Sloppy Peters. And no wonder. Dirt all over him. Face, hands, hair. Your mistake, Dresser, was this. You had him in a bathtub. Why didn't you put in some soap and water, too?
Suspense.
You've been listening to 60 Grand Missing, written for Suspense by Robert Arthur. Heard in tonight's story were Bernard Grant as Dresser. Others in the cast included Ralph Bell, Leon Janney, Sam Raskin, Joseph Julian, Mason Adams, Michael Caine, and Nat Owen. Listen again next week when we return with Daisy Chain, written by Robert Forrest. Another tale well calculated to keep you in
suspense.
The Kingston Trio next, followed by latest CBS News, and Have Gun Will...
Now, another tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
The Daisy Chain, written for Suspense by John R. Forrest. When is it going to stop raining? That's what I ask myself.
Is that a knock or is it a storm?
That's hard to tell. It's cold, too. I put a shilling in the geyser an hour ago, and the water's cold already. Those scientists who say the climate's changing are dead right.
A knock, I think.
Now, who'll be out tonight? Only that Daisy Chain murderer who escaped from jail will be out tonight. Now, I see in the paper they're trying to locate his mother. Chances are they'll find them both drowned in the London rain. What I'm trying to say, only evil men...
Father, stop your silly nonsense.
No one with any sense in this knocker would be out. Go to the door, Sharon, please.
Yes, Father. Oh, how do you do?
Oh, better now. Thank you that I'm inside.
Oh, take off your coat. I'll put your umbrella over here.
I don't want to be a bother to anybody, but I'm alone now. Very much alone. Do you have a room to let?
I'm Pitchfield here. This is my daughter, Sharon. I'm the proprietor of the premises. We do have one room to let. What's your name?
I'm Mrs. Grimes. Mrs. Hetty Grimes, that is. My husband was the late George Grimes of, Manchester.
You're from Manchester, Mrs. Grimes?
Yes, indeed. Came all the way by train and then scuttled about in this rain. I was so grateful to see your sign.
Oh, you like the room. It has a grate and a cozy conservatory. I'm sorry about your husband, Mrs. Grimes. Was it recent?
Oh, mercy knows. It happened 35 years ago, but I never remarried. Oh. Well, largely because of my health. My back has given out several times. Just lately, too. How much rent do you charge for the room?
Well, I'm sure we can talk business in the morning, can't we, Father? Father, would you carry Mrs. Grimes' case into her room?
Oh, what a ride. All the way
I believe you said Manchester, Mrs. Grimes.
This way, please.
I've been reading about the Daisy Chain murderer, Mrs. Grimes.
Oh, Father, stop playing detective. I'll get Mrs. Grimes' file going.
Never read papers anymore. Listen to third program because it puts me to sleep.
We're a little jittery. Right on top of the fog and rain, this Daisy Chain murderer escaped from jail, right from the hangman's noose, he did. You never heard about him in Manchester? I dare say everybody in England's heard about him now. Has to be hanged in 30 days. Oh, those poor girls. One in the sand at Bognor Regis, the other one, where was it, Sharon? Regent's Park.
Father, will you change the subject?
The last one at Hampstead Heath. He wasn't any Jack the Ripper. No, not this fine bucko. I'm talking about the killer, I am. This one was artistic and sentimental. Left a daisy chain around the necks of his poor victims.
Please excuse Father, Mrs. Grimes. He's an amateur Sherlock Holmes.
I don't want to trespass on your good nature, but would you happen to have a glass of stout? My back is going out again, and I can tell her. I get such a clutch. Right in the small...
Oh, Manchester, Mrs.
Oh, what an ugly old city it is. All the mills and coal. I'm so fortunate to find you good people with a room to let. After my bitter journey and, my back.
There are some nicer spots in Manchester.
Oh, yes, I lived in one of the better places. A lovely part of town for those in modest circumstances.
I'm sure you did. And this place
Oh,
is...
dear. Thank you for the stout young lady.
There you are.
Oh, yes, it was a beauty spot. I must remember the number. Well, no matter. 23-something. Daisy Bank Road.
Come tomorrow morning, we'll tell her to go. She gets a free night's lodging just because we can't...
Father, you're an old fuss.
Well, better be safe than sorry.
Well, if you're so worried, why don't you notify the inspector?
Well, I'm sure I'd feel out of place reporting a harmless old woman to the
Well,
police.
she's a harmless old woman. Why do you...
Well, she doesn't talk like the people of Manchester.
Shall we get the 10 o'clock news and go to bed?
Now, I was never one to lean on the cautious side, you understand? But right now,
Don't
what
you
with one
trust
thing...
anybody, Father?
Well, I don't trust somebody from Manchester who doesn't talk that way. Nothing to be done tonight. As your dear mother used to say, may she rest in peace. Tomorrow will be a fairer day.
In just a moment, we will return for the second act of Suspense.
Mama, will you let me in? Oh, go away. Go away. Let me alone. Go away. I'm so tired. Go away.
Ma, it's me. It's Jimmy. Open the window.
How did you find me?
Mama, a little light, not too much.
Oh, why didn't you leave me alone? How did you find me? I've got a candle. Now, wait a moment.
Oh, easy, Mama. Oh, Ma, I saw you leave your old digs this morning. I watched you give the slip to the bobbies. Oh, you were clever, Mama.
Oh, they'll get you. Oh, my boy, they'll get you. I had to leave. I knew the bobbies would look for me and find you that way. You shouldn't have followed me. They'll get you for sure.
Not if you quiet down. Oh, well, it's great to be... I suppose this is home.
They keep saying you did it, and you keep saying you didn't do it. Oh, my poor boy, when will it stop?
You got any food, Mama?
The papers write those dreadful things, and it's on the wireless all the time.
Mama, I want some food.
Oh, what horrible days these are, horrible days. When you were a little boy, you'd go bounding to the parks and bring me back flowers, singing and laughing. Oh, Jimmy. And then they started saying all those things about you. Oh, I can't stand it anymore. I can't stand it. It's got to stop. It's got to.
Oh, it's cookies all you've got?
I only had a fire for a few moments, but there'll be tea.
How many people in the house?
Only two. The landlord and his daughter.
His daughter?
It's slack season with them. Just two people live here.
What's the daughter like?
You wouldn't be asking about the daughter, Jimmy, if you were my little boy again. Don't you dare ask me about her. Oh, what manner of man have I raised?
You'll be raising the dead if you don't pipe down.
And you can joke about it. You, with the likeness already made of you at Madame Tussauds.
I'll be staying with you, Mama. And you'll put me up, and you won't tell anybody anything. It'll be just like those other days. Tell me more about the daughter, Mama. What's her name?
May the good Lord have mercy on your soul.
Is this Inspector Christ?
Yes.
Inspector, I left her room last night. A bad night, if you recall. An old woman took the room for a fortnight. Said she was from Manchester. Then this morning she announced her son had come a-visiting. Now, while I'm not naturally a suspicious man, I began to wonder about that daisy chain.
Well, you're a lively one, all right. Well, there's no harm done. We'll have the light in no time. Matter of fact, we've had a call from our station in the south of England saying a boy answering the description has been picked up. So you can stop worrying.
Oh, thank you, Inspector.
That's all right.
Why, I just wanted to make certain.
At it again, Father. What did you find out?
Scotland Yard has them all right. Or think they have.
You know what curiosity did to the kitten?
Hey, so look here, do you think you ought to chat so much with that boy? You know, you spent all morning talking to him.
He recites such lovely poetry. Such a nice voice he has.
Never worked a day in his life.
He's had a lot of schooling. He speaks well.
Well, you mind yourself now, yeah? I'm off to the city.
Goodbye, Father.
So, your kind old father warned you about my offish ways. What does he know about me? I bet he was offended because I recite poetry.
Jimmy, you were listening.
Well, I couldn't help hearing. Ah, what a beautiful day for the pure in heart. A day when the morning sun salutes its own, the very young.
You have quite a way with words.
A much better approach when I'm out of doors on the grass, listening to nightingales. When peace comes dropping slow. What say we hie off to the greengrocer's, we get some bread and cheese, some grapes and wine, and dine like royalty under the trees, huh? I know a place on the riverbank.
Oh, I couldn't. It's bad form.
Just a picnic in broad daylight?
Jimmy!
Let's go right now.
But that's your mother. No.
She just can't let me out of her sight. On with us. Come on, let's go.
Jimmy, I can't.
Quick. Oh, no picnic.
In a moment, we will return for the third act of Suspense.
Now, here's Edgar Bergen and Charlie McCarthy.
Bergen, when I'm old enough to drive, can I have a car?
Not unless you learn to care for it properly, Charlie.
Oh, I'm a genius with the monkey wrench. The kids in our block say if Charlie can't fix your car, there's something wrong with it.
Now, suppose you have a car.
Yeah, let's make it a Corvette. A conservative red with yellow stripes.
The color is not important. But if it's any GM car or truck, you should take it to your General Motors dealer for service.
Oh, sure, I know.
Oh? And what do you ask for?
A credit?
Guardian maintenance. Do you know what guardian maintenance means?
It's the story of my life. Like you are my guardian and I maintain you.
No. Guardian maintenance is expert service performed by GM-trained servicemen who have the proper tools and the factory-approved parts to do the job right. And it's available to owners of Chevrolet cars and trucks, Pontiacs, Oldsmobiles, Buicks, Cadillacs, and GMC trucks.
And red Corvettes with yellow stripes.
But the dear old Thames is not ugly up toward the source.
Do you know that country?
Oh, a little bit. When I was a boy with my parents. That was before we moved to London.
Nice memories.
Yeah. Then the Blitz. Both killed, 1940.
Oh. Oh, Mrs. Grimes isn't your mother?
No, she adopted me. One of those war orphanages. Raised me since I was 4. Oh, I'm like her own son, she says. Sharon, we're really alone here. Behind the header. To be us, plague the weather. Who can see us?
Whose immortal lines are those?
Fellow named Grimes. Yeah, a great poet. A fine scholar, and a man who would like very much to be a gentleman.
Oh, you really wrote that? I thought it was Swift or Moore or somebody.
You have a fine mind, my lady. Discerning one, too. But as I was observing, we are quite alone. Now, who really can see us?
It is a bit secluded, isn't it? Oh, that Bobby over there can see us.
What, where? What Bobby?
Oh, you're tipping over the basket. That Bobby over there, he's coming this way.
Not a word. Don't talk to him.
What's going on with you? You're shaking.
Let me talk.
But you nearly spoiled the sandwiches I made. Jimmy, you're still shaking.
Afternoon. Good day for a picnic. You'd better hurry. Look at the clouds.
Yeah, it's clouding a bit. Always does this time of year.
Everything all right?
Yeah, quite.
Since all the murders last year, we talk to the people now and then and ask them the time of day.
Well, it's time he was eating now.
Better be watching the rain clouds. Afternoon.
Why do you act so strangely? He wasn't going to hurt you. He was very pleasant.
Yeah, they all are, for a while. If I pick you some daisies, may I have a sandwich?
Oh, look. Daisies all around us.
Well, do I get the sandwich?
Of course you do. But first the daisies.
Well, all right. Let me help you get up. Oh, would you hand me the bottle of wine?
You like daisies, Jimmy?
Oh, where I used to live, we got fields of them. We lived on Daisy Bank Road.
Look out, you're spilling it. What a wild look on your face. Better take it off. We're having company again. This time, too, Bobby. It's the same one and a friend.
Now, on your feet. Come on, do as I say.
What?
Yeah, we'll walk this way. Only fast. Just keep looking overhead as though you fear the rain. Fast! Hey, come on now, lively. Get to the edge of the park. Take the first tram, and I'll be along later. Yeah, get going.
You're holding my hand.
Get going. You stay away from Mrs. Grimes.
In just a moment, we will return for the concluding act of Suspense.
Sweet child. You and Papa went to the pub, said it was Thursday night.
Mrs. Grimes, I'm confused. Has Jimmy been here?
Jimmy's with you, isn't he?
It was so strange, Mrs. Grimes. We saw some bobbies and he ran. Why did he run, Mrs. Grimes? Why did he? Why?
Did he spoil your picnic?
Of course he did. Where is he? Why did he run, Mrs. Grimes?
He was always so headstrong and always so mixed up. Oh, such a pretty afternoon. Did you sit down under a tree? Did he read poetry to you? Did he get that faraway look, like he was a little boy when he read to you? And did you like the sound of his voice? Did his voice sound deep in his chest?
Mrs. Grimes, you have Father's key. Why are you locking the door?
Did he tell you that your eyes were beautiful and your hands were pretty? And did he hold your hands?
Mrs. Grimes, will you let me out of this room? I'm sorry, but you've made me uneasy.
Everything in this world will pass, my dear. And never fear, you shall be released to join. Oh, Sharon, tell me more about Jimmy. Did he make up a little rhyme to suit the occasion? And did he... Oh, that poor girl in Regent's Park. Jimmy was so fond of her. But I had to follow her one day and make a daisy chain. But in Bognor Regis, I couldn't find any daisy. So I got some, all the way from Hampstead Heath. A miserable journey on the train, but the little vixen in Hampstead Heath knew how strong I was before I gathered the daisies. So Jimmy was always so fond of picnics and would go dashing off. So I have a beautiful daisy chain for you, my dear Sharon. And I also have strong, sinewy hands. No. Wonderfully strong like Jimmy's. Now poor Jimmy will really hang. But I'd rather let the hangman get him than you or any other girl. Oh, no. Better the hangman than you, Mrs. Bernstein. You see, you're very pretty, but I am stronger, you see. Sharon, you are so pretty. She's too bad. And the others, they were so pretty.
Relax, Mrs. Grimes. Let go now. Come along with you. All right. Take Mrs. Grimes out of here.
Sharon, are you all right?
Where's my father?
I'm Inspector Chris, young lady. Your father's right here. Sorry to have made you a sitting duck, so to speak, but we've been outwitted by this Mrs. Grimes for one entire year. And she's really Mrs. Mabel Dodds, Jimmy's foster mother.
I was in on it too, Sharon. That is, at the very last I was in on it. You'll forgive your father?
Me too, Sharon. You know, everybody thought I was the daisy chain murderer until Scotland Yard got suspicious and they arranged my escape. Ah, you think we can ever have a civilized picnic?
Oh, Jimmy.
Can you ever have a picnic with a man who already has an image cast at Madame Tussauds?
I'll think about it.
Suspense.
You've been listening to The Daisy Chain, written for Suspense by John R. Forrest. In a moment, the names of our players and a word about next week's story of Suspense. that story were John Clark as Jimmy, Joan Loring as Sharon, and Jane Rose as Mrs. Grimes. Others in the cast were Brett Morrison, Marvin Peisner, and Mercer McLeod. Listen again next week when we return with End of the Line by Murray Burnett, another tale well calculated to keep you in